We are here with another episode of Sport and Suits. We got Jesse Goldrich here. We've had a lot of athletes on here, a lot of coaches. We've had some business owners, and now we got this freaking wild man. I mean, holy shit. We go back, as long as I've known Sean, so it's 6-7 years.
At least.
At least.
Who's counting?
Yeah.
I stopped counting once we passed 30, you know? It's it's devastating at this point.
No shit.
Every year is another fucking sad story.
But yeah, man, yeah. So, kind of how we typically do this is just kind of tell us like your background, where you're from, what you're, where you're at now, and yeah, just kind of shoot the shit, kind of from your childhood all the way till now.
Love it.
And shout out our sponsors at Nectar.
Yep.
Yeah, big shout out to Nectar.
Nectar.
Shout out to Nectar.
Absolutely. I'm going to throw one in right now, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
The king of the Zins.
They're nootropics, right?
Yeah, nootropics. Yeah.
Yeah.
The caffeine, you want one?
No, not right now. I'm already jacked up here unless you want me to start doing push-ups on this podcast. I got shit to do today. But no, yeah, listen, if you guys want to go through my story, I want to be very transparent about my, financial ability. Definitely not the best, school kid, but figured out a cool little niche that we're going to dive into here today. But as a kid, I grew up, I was just telling the guys, I grew up in a pretty unique situation where, I grew up in New York City. Family owned a famous music store in Times Square. So grew up a city boy, running on the stock floor, stocking the boxes, doing everything I can to, bring value at a young age. But one of the cool things about, my setup is being a kid growing up in New York City, you see a lot. You see the hustle and bustle. You see, the motivation and just, quite frankly, how many people have money over there.
It's fucking wild.
Wild.
Yeah.
So, long story short, parents ended up moving out of New York City. We moved out to LA for a little bit. My dad had started up another shop out there, ended up not doing so well. Parents unfortunately got divorced. And then that's when my real story begins, when we moved back to a little town in Connecticut called West Haven. That's where, Sean, who you know so well, Yale, old coach at Yale. That's where we started playing some football at, me as less of a high level than him. But needless to say, that's where I got my stripes, so to speak. But with West Haven, one of the cool things, and I was just telling the guys, is as a kid, when you get put in a blue collar environment, right? And I made that transition from, the lifestyle of the rich and famous New York City vibe to all of a sudden very small, hardworking blue collar town. I noticed some changes. And one of the changes was that as you start to go down in medium of income in city, you get a lot more yap about money.
100%. That's how it works.
And so as a kid, I paid attention to that, because I'm competitive, wasn't able to compete at a sports level like you guys, but I was definitely financially competitive. So I would line it up against a lot of the adults in my network about how they talked about money and knew that I wanted to have money.
Right.
And, unfortunately, I had a little slight dilemma because school wasn't my thing. And the old school mantra was, if you want to make money, boy, outside of sports, you better figure the school thing out.
Absolutely.
Go
to college.
Had to. I didn't believe it, though. I'm so stubborn and I'm so, my own worst enemy sometimes. I was the kid in school, like, I don't need this shit. Don't bother me with it. It's a waste of time. It's an old school institution. And
absolutely.
In some way, shape, or form, I was actually kind of right.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Why the fuck do I need to know the Pythagorean theorem? Can't even pronounce this shit. But
exactly.
I'm not going to be an engineer.
No.
Sean needed to know that.
I went for engineering. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that's something that you kind of need to know. That I don't need to know what the hell the angles are.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you what I've seen with the quarterback stuff, the training wise, there's a lot more kids like in the last 2 years that are being homeschooled.
Smart. Listen, at the end of the day, I think you see like the institutions that actually have a grip on things play to the kid's strength, right?
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
Everybody's a different person. I don't need to put, letters in my numbers to, be able to make it to the next level.
Right.
Because I've done some pretty cool things financially to this day. I've still never seen an A or a B in any of my math. And it makes me want to go backwards to all those dumb fucking teachers and be like, you wasted my goddamn time.
Yeah.
But neither here nor...
You did go to college, though, right?
I did go to college. I had a lie.
What did you go to college for?
International business, which had no place in going anywhere international because I speak one language. Could barely speak English, so I was like, let me just figure out a way to get the fuck out of America for a little bit, and I thought that was a cool little way to do it. Ended up not being the end play, but I had to lie, steal, and cheat my way into college because I had a straight D average in high school. I mean, I was, as rebellious as they come.
Oh.
I only went to school to show up to football practice. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was my only job, only excitement throughout the day. So when we got to time to go to college, I had to completely reverse engineer my life. I actually came down here. I got kicked out of a lacrosse game for fighting in West Haven, Connecticut. Put 3 girls in my car, drove all the way down to Florida because I knew I was on the IR for a little bit, and we ended up stopped at University of Tampa and partied for 3 days, which turned my entire
Holy
life
shit.
around.
That's kind of wild.
I called my dad. I got arrested twice in those 2 days.
Oh,
I
jeez,
called
bro.
my dad and said, Dad, there's no other school I want to go to than University of Tampa. So whatever we got to do, please help me figure out a way to go. And he actually was able to reverse engineer a way to get me in the door by going to HCC.
Holy
So
shit.
I did 1 semester at HCC. Completely.
The Harvard of the South.
The Harvard of the South, baby.
Hey, I went to HCC.
Yeah. And I actually.
My dad went there too. He literally calls it the Harvard of the South.
Dude, I mean, I don't know if you guys know the little housing that was behind HCC, the Hawks Landing. I was actually one of the first tenants there,
Yeah.
First time, and it was a brand new building. I'm like, this isn't a community college. This is amazing. I love it. Everyone's at the pool. So I was like, I could do this. Long story short, I ended up getting through HCC pretty easily. That was one of the coolest schools I've ever been to. Teachers were definitely a lot of fun and easy to work with there. But it got me into University of Tampa, and then that's kind of where the story begins. From there, University of Tampa, obviously I realized coming from a blue collar town where everyone yaps about money, everyone thinks they're the big fish on the block, every adult's like, I got 100,000 in the account, and I'm like, as a kid watching these old guys, I'm like, dude, you drive a fucked up car, again, because I didn't know what money was. Now that I do know what money is, it's usually the guy with the fucked up car that has all the money, but not those guys. I promise you that.
Yeah.
So, I took a play, I learned a little bit from West Haven. When I got to University of Tampa, I saw that I was a small fish in a big pond, right? And I wanted to compete at a high level financially.
What year was this when you came down?
2010.
And I mean, obviously you're in real estate as well.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that. But what is the difference that you've seen from 2010 Tampa to fucking 2025?
Well, the crazy thing is you could have bought a house on Davis Island for skipping a bar tab. It was peak depression at that point. I'm pretty sure.
That's right. Yeah.
We were renting places on Davis Island for like $700 a month, split between like 4 guys, right? And now you guys know the real estate market in Davis Island. It's unbelievable. You can't buy a shack for less than $1 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that all actually ties into what we're going to talk about today, because I think I want to give you guys a really simple case study on why to buy Bitcoin, as that being my biggest asset and moneymaker to this day. But I want to cover all the bases with you guys to know that I'm not just a one-trick pony. I mean, I have a pretty sick real estate portfolio, and we could.
Is it like multifamily units?
Yeah, I got some multifamilies against my better judgment. So I was actually, started in multifamily in 2015. And then obviously, was able to acquire a couple pretty cool properties in great locations here in Tampa. Obviously at that time I was kicking myself because I'm like, fuck, I missed the boat, like all these things are 10x what they used to be.
Right.
And then I felt stupid for buying. But then here comes COVID.
And then
Everything boomed, right? So once COVID happened, I had to pivot and figure out a way to acquire real estate, right, without getting banged over the head at those COVID premiums.
So
right?
did you leverage your current properties?
So I smoked a joint and came up with a genius. I came up with what I thought
those are always the best.
Yeah, always the best,
best ideas.
Again, not a great critical thinker sober, but give me a little spin here and I get a little crafty. But I came up with...
we got some weed gummies.
Oh, no, please. I'll be on mute this whole time.
Okay.
But no, so I came up with what I thought was a genius plan of a way to utilize hard money, lend on assets that I wanted to take back. So it was pretty much, I thought I was becoming a predatory lender, right?
So you were the hard money lender.
Yeah. I started lending out my cash.
What was the balloon?
What? Well, they're
Like 6 months,
12%.
1
Yeah,
year?
1 year, 12% period, right? Asset based lending.
Any points?
Fund daily. Yeah, well, 6 points up front. It depends on which
Damn, that's an
company you use.
expensive. That is predatory lending, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well,
Everyone else is doing it. I mean,
yeah.
why
Well,
the
no,
hell
I mean,
not
listen,
me?
it's not. I don't want because I'm gonna get killed by my friends and partners that are big wigs in that space. It's not. I mean, they provide a great value, right? I mean, they like a lot of these guys that can't get funding. All these people that think they want $1 million house with dog shit credit and pretty average income. They have an uphill battle to climb, right? So hard money fills a lot of those gaps. It makes sense for a lot of people. There is no prepayment penalty. So if you are a mover and shaker, definitely a great tool in your Rolodex for buying real estate and acquiring. Because at that point in my life, when I graduated college, right, I was a money guy. I wanted to be, one of the richer kids in my network. And I was playing the game to be able to do so. Long story short, which I'm sure the viewers would love, and I know my friends that are watching this are just, please talk about how much more money your wife makes than you. Because, everyone can't wait to hit me with that fucking baseball bat.
Bro, he mentioned it like when all fair. He just brought it up. I didn't even know this.
Brother, I don't lie at all. I mean, that's the one thing about being 35 nowadays. I stopped lying years ago. So, I mean, I'm not going to come off here as one of these scammer rich guys that, has all the secrets and tools. I'm just going to give you guys what I got, how it's affected me, and how it's helped me make a bunch of money. Because, again, when I moved to University of Tampa, I had the opportunity. I met my wife first semester, right?
Oh, wow.
We've been together 15 years.
Holy shit.
And my wife is a gangster. She's an I don't even know how to put she's a titan in her space. She literally runs the multi-level marketing space. She's the #1 income earner in the biggest network marketing company. And I always tell all my friends who are like, man, it's got to be super cool for you. I'm like, no, it kind of fucking sucked, because I was the kid that came from that West Haven mentality where I heard adults, talk about money like they were gangsters 24/7. And it was kind of like, utilize, hold money over your significant other's head. So I learned a little bit of that in college. When me and Jack would fight in college and I was doing the things I was doing financially, it was like, darling, if you want to eat dinner this week, I would just be very quiet and let me do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Darling,
again, if she was here right now, she'd be like, oh yeah, motherfucker, now you fucking eat some crow. But it's true.
I mean, she dealt with it, right? So now she's like, let me give it back. Let me give it back.
Brother, I mean, I don't know if you guys, I wish you could pop up a picture of me 4 years ago.
Can I?
But I was 250 pounds. I was about as depressed as it gets.
You were a tank.
Yeah, and it was all because my wife started to make more money than me. Everyone at that point in my life was like, what the fuck is wrong with you, George? Like, you should be thriving right now. I go, I live in a toxic household right now. My wife's letting me have it for everything I did to her throughout our college experience.
Karma's a motherfucker, ain't it?
Karma is a mother. And, it was just due because I was tough. I don't have the best, I had a lot of maturing to do. I think that's the way to put it. I saw adults that weren't maybe the best examples run the show for a long time, that I just took little bits from everybody and pieced together my own story. And maybe wasn't the best so-called supportive partner. So when the tables turned and she started making my year in a month, and I just want to be crystal clear, because when we talk about Bitcoin, I know Bitcoin is one of these subjects that everyone's dick gets off sometimes because it's at a fucking 100K and everyone's like, I'm not touching it at 100K. It's simply,
it ain't going down.
It ain't going down, but and I mean, it may go down. It's volatile, but again, it's money go up technology, and I'll explain to you guys the math behind that and how it will continue.
Are there any letters in this math?
No letters in this math.
All right, good.
Ain't no A, B's, and C's.
Simple, direct understanding here. No parentheses, no algebra.
Just that.
Just the money sign, baby.
I feel like you glossed over this part. You said you were hard money lending right out of UT, but how did you acquire the money in order to hard money lend?
Well, yeah, so, I mean, a little bit of the hard money lending money definitely come from my wife because it was at the point where she started to pick up. I mean, when you talk about having a girl jump from, she was doing $300,000 a year at her software sales job to doing $300,000 a month at her network marketing job, we had some extra money, right? And, this is why,
So you said, hey, baby, can you bring me off a mill or two? Bring me off a mill or two.
It took me a while to ask. She knows I'm too prideful to ask, because, again, got my own demons. But she actually was the first one to offer, like, hey, listen, like, let's work together, because we were pre-married. You know, we'd been together 9 years before we got engaged. You know, and she'll tell you to this day. Obviously, I got engaged to her the second she started making a lot of money, because it started to make sense at that
As
point.
you should,
Obviously,
as
I
you
Started to make
should.
sense at that point. You know, like before she was just had a regular job. You know, the numbers weren't mathing. You know, from a
The math wasn't mathing, yeah.
marriage
Yeah.
contract standpoint. But then once her numbers started to go up, I said, you know, maybe we give this marriage thing a try. And
Jesse, what's your last name?
Goldrich.
Gold digger?
Yeah. No, and she'll tell you.
Well played.
We've been at a bunch of events with people, and people are talking shit about what I got going on, and she'd be like, yeah, he's one of the smartest gold diggers to ever exist. And listen,
Own it, fuck it. Who
yeah,
cares?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but
That's what he said earlier, man.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't
yeah.
give a fuck, and that's why I was like, I gotta get your brother on.
Yeah.
To talk about ball, and I gotta get you on
I love it.
because
No,
he has absolutely no fucking filter, and he's gonna say what he wants to say. If you don't like it, then get fucked.
Yeah.
I like
for
that.
sure.
I like
well,
that.
no, I mean, think about it like this, boys. I mean, I was with her for 9 years before
Yeah.
you.
You put in the time.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
and again, I just got my own demons here. You know, like, I'm a product of a divorced family. You know, when I went down to college, you know, when I was 19 years old, marriage and a relationship was the last thing on my mind, you know? And I came down here like, I'm never going to put, you know, I didn't want kids at that time. Obviously, now I have kids, and I realize how stupid I was, because it's one of the coolest things
it
to
is.
ever do.
No
But
doubt.
I just dug my feet in the ground like an idiot and was like,
We're hard headed, man.
yeah, literally. Like, I was like, I'll never have kids. I'll never put that in a situation. I'm living for me, and I'm going to live the coolest life, you know? But then when you're not looking for it, sometimes life slaps you in the face. They gave me an unbelievable girl who's super cool. She obviously busts her ass, works super hard, and together we built a super cool thing. But that's how it all leads to Bitcoin, because we were in a unique situation where we had more cash than we knew what to do with, right? And I think, like, Saylor says this all the time about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's on a need-to-know basis. My problem with Bitcoin was I was first introduced to Bitcoin in 2010.
Please tell me you bought in 2000.
No. Well, I mean, I bought. I never bought and hold, so I don't want to make that claim, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bought because it was the way you acquired greenery, on Silk Roads, right? So if you were in the game, hustling and bustling, you would utilize Bitcoin to acquire these dark web products. Right?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, I mean, it's there's documentaries of it all the time.
Exactly. Well,
Yeah.
Russ, I just saw Russ speak at Bitcoin conference last weekend in Vegas, and he came out, he just got released a little bit ago, and now he's already got close to 300 Bitcoin in investing. I mean, that guy, it's unbelievable. He was in jail for 12 years, so he deserves it.
Who's Russ?
Russ, he's the guy that started Silk Roads.
Yeah.
He's the guy
You've never seen like American Greed? You ever
I have seen
that show?
seen American Greed. but-
American Greed. There's a whole freaking. I love that show, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's a whole episode about him. And
Yeah, well, that kid's a gangster, And,
So what
no
you're saying
shit.
is drug dealers were using Bitcoin instead of cash.
Correct. Well,
Yeah.
because there was a misinterpretation about Bitcoin. They thought it was a private form of exchange, which it's not. It's actually like
It's a
the most
secure form of exchange.
secure,
Yeah.
but it's the most trackable, divisible asset out there, right? So if it touches your wallet and you send it out, 20 years later, I could go backtrack and see every transaction.
So let me ask you a
made.
question, because
That's
all
kinda
fair,
wild.
we were saying
that's
how
something I had no
we were
idea.
saying how Bitcoin, the quantity of Bitcoin is actually going down because people are losing what you said, their keys, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that trackable, is it?
Well, no, it is trackable. They could see where all these lost Bitcoin are in the wallets. They just can't access them.
Really?
Yeah.
because the passcode of the key.
Yeah.
Like, what's the guy that lost he like threw his key away at his
Yeah, yeah.
cold storage in the.
Eight, I think it was like 8,000 Bitcoin or something. Like, is
Yes.
in some dump in
$80 million.
Some dump, and
He's
he's
trying to buy the dump
trying
now
to buy the
dig
dump
it out
and dig it up. Yeah,
but the city
on a
won't let
freaking
him.
zip line or a
The
zip drive.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend threw it out on him cleaning.
I
Yeah, tough story.
He needed to throw that girlfriend out with.
I think she did get shit canned, which I'm sure, regardless, doesn't solve the problem that we're still broke.
no shit. Jesus Christ.
You know?
It's like the guy with the Papa John's pizza.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the pizza. Yeah,
He
pizza
paid-
day.
what was it?
10,000 Bitcoin.
10,000 Bitcoins, and he
Yeah.
bought 2 Papa John's
Oh
pizzas.
yeah, that gave it away. Yeah,
And
yeah,
they like
yeah.
interviewed him. He's like, "Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
just what Bitcoin was worth back in the day."
Yeah.
They were like, "You have any regrets?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, a little bit." A little bit,
Yeah.
motherfucker. What?
Well, you
Yeah.
can't
I'd
dwell.
be
You can't
absolutely
dwell on the
heartbroken.
past.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't dwell
it's
on
true.
the past, man.
No, no
For sure.
shit.
Well, no, but also, I mean, the point I was bringing home with that is like I was introduced to Bitcoin back then, and because of the context it was introduced me on, discredited as junk. You know, like not a real asset, right? And it took me a lot of time to, get over myself and realize, holy shit, Johnny, look at this fucking thing because it's running, right? And obviously, if you track the price of Bitcoin, it's one of the most volatile assets out there.
No
but
doubt.
the volatility is a blessing of the technology. It's number go up technology, meaning that like it's a scarce divisible asset. There will never be more, right? And I don't want to jump too far ahead because I know we're kind of popping all over the place here. But if you look at the big picture of what Bitcoin is, it simply tracks with the global M2 money supply, which means that as our government, and I'm going to hit you guys with some facts on how this is a guaranteed set standard for how we have to move from a government standpoint moving forward. But if we continue to print money, Bitcoin tracks that M2 money supply almost to a T, right? So when other countries, China, Russia, United States, turn on their money printer, gold reacts within, I think, a couple weeks. And then following that, there's a 3-month lag behind gold where Bitcoin then rockets, right? So from an investment standpoint, not being a school guy that can handle letters in his math, I try to focus on the easy metrics that show me how to win this game, right? Now, just to backtrack a little bit, right? If we go to how I first found Bitcoin, I started investing in Bitcoin in 2017. Was my first real like, okay, I now own a couple Bitcoin, right? One of my partners, I can't say his name for privacy, was actually mining Ethereum in his IT closet when we started a company called getoutofdebt.com. And I would hear the ding go off at like every hour or so. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing in here, pal? And he was like, oh, I'm mining Ethereum. It's pretty much going to be like, it's a blockchain that eventually we'll be able to tokenize assets on, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, sounds fun. Let me play ball with you. And I had no idea, you didn't know what you didn't know. I just knew this dude did something of value and it was making him money. So I wanted to partake. Luckily, that transition of him mining Ethereum, he gave me the playbook on how to mine Ethereum. I tried it unsuccessfully. It is complicated as fuck. I wouldn't even, begin to, try to explain how to do it because, obviously it's just for smarter people other than me. But that's inevitably what led me to Bitcoin because during his process of mining Ethereum, he had some conversation with me. He was like, listen, man, the entire thing I'm doing is to be able to acquire Ethereum, to be able to sell with the ability to acquire more Bitcoin. And then that's when the Bitcoin kind of door opened for me. And I was like, what's Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And I was like,
and this is 2017.
2017. And so, he kind of explained to me all the perks about Bitcoin and what it really is. And for you guys that, and I don't know, for the listeners on here, regardless of where you're at, from a financial standpoint, the only time Bitcoin doesn't make sense in today's society is if you're 100 million plus. If you've already figured out the game, right, and you're running the show and you have cash flow falling out of your ears, then Bitcoin really, it's not in a need to know basis.
And how many people have 100 million?
I don't.
9 figures, man.
Depends at the bars. Everyone seems
yeah.
to. I go out there. I'm like, man, I'm pretty broke in this group, but. Obviously people are full of shit.
You call yourself stupid over and over again. It's like, yo, bro, you're not. You're just being humilitous there.
Yeah, for sure. Well,
is that a word?
Yeah.
Humilitous?
Yeah. Humilitous, the ability to be humble.
Love it. No,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to go to that, I mean, if you want to take a wild turn on that, once I slowly after I started my Bitcoin journey and my wife started to kick my ass financially and I was drinking, a bottle of tequila before breakfast and partying my ass off to try to deal with my own demons, it eventually led me to, ayahuasca, which, kind of was the first thing that changed my whole life, my whole fundamental train of thought that led me to be, where I'm at now, finally in half decent shape. I consider myself a pretty savvy, long-term investor, not a trader, right? Because all these traders, that post their, small wins on their Instagram aren't showing you the losses on the back end.
I see it all the time.
It's like Scammers Are Us Academy. And
they're selling you a course.
Exactly.
It's a fucking disaster. Well, we're going to take a quick little break and then I want to go. we're going to dive more into the Bitcoin, and you got your notes already primed up.
Fired up. Let's go.
So we're going to take a quick little break. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, follow, get your notification shit on. Follow Suits and Sports. Follow, what's your...
Mr. Goldrich.
Mr. Goldrich. Mr. Goldrich. on
Gold like
Instagram.
jewelry, rich like money.
I love it. I love it. Don't forget, follow Nectar, Nectr, Nectar. They're nootropics. No nicotine, although I like nicotine. But yeah, these are really good. So yeah, use Garcia5 as the code. Get a nice little discount. We'll be right back. And we're back, folks. We are back. We are back on Sports and Suits with Mr. Jesse Goldrich. And we're getting into what he's excited about. Look at that.
And we got to
grin he's
shout
got
out
there.
Nectar again. Come on.
Nah, man. Nectar's got enough.
Nectar's
Of course,
got
man. Of
enough.
course, Nectar. Nectar all day long. Nootropics, get your brain right. Mix it with a little bourbon or tequila. Feeling froggy.
A little bit of Casamigos.
Yeah.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know? Who knows?
Mother Nature's mixer.
Yeah, that's right.
Nature's mixer.
But yeah, man, we want to get into this. You know, we're going to dive right into it. We don't need to announce it. We've kind of touched on it every now and then.
Yeah.
But let's go into it, man. This is the Bitcoin guy. I mean, I text this guy nonstop about, you know, hey, what do you think about XRP? What do you think about Bitcoin? He's like, and I was telling Harold, you talk, and I don't know what the fuck language this is.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I
And
know.
so you just got back from the.
Usually I'm hammered most of the time. That's why.
Well,
So my question is, he said XRP. Now,
Yeah.
I took a drive from the casino, and my Uber driver said, yo, XRP is the next biggest thing that's going to pop off. Is that true?
let me. Then I'm going to sell it. Then
Yeah.
I'm
Really?
gonna sell it. There's a famous quote. I forgot who said it.
When
it
taxi drivers
it
start
was
talking?
no, it was Kennedy. It was Kennedy back in the
Yeah.
old Wall Street.
1960s?
Old Wall Street. No, like when Wall Street first started becoming like the financial institution of the world. He was getting his shoes shined, and the shoe shiner guy goes, "Yeah, what do you think about this stock? You know, I'm getting involved in this stock." And he goes, "When this guy starts talking about it, sell it."
Oh, shit, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember
It's-
that quote.
It's
yeah.
kind of it's a weird. I mean,
So you're
butcher
saying
it.
when the broke people start talking about it, that's when you got to get out of it?
Well,
I don't know if that's
here's
the
my
case.
thing, and obviously we're going to talk about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is its own thing, right? It's the apex cryptocurrency. That doesn't mean that a lot of these altcoins like XRP that have real world utility aren't going to make it, right? Like there's going to be 99% of these coins are going to go bye and they're going to all go to zero. But some of these coins like XRP has been around the longest. It has the most corporate sponsors. It does provide, some value in forms of real world utility as far as like a backdrop for a payment system. It's able to handle, the amount of transactions that like, a Visa or MasterCard could handle. So there's cool shit there, right? I don't want to naysay it, but again, could it be replicated? Absolutely. Right. And that's the same thing why, I have, huge, massive positions in ETH and Solana. They're both the same
Solana,
thing.
yeah.
Right. I think.
What about like Shiba Inu?
No, I don't
and
touch
Doge
it. I mean, listen, I have these bots, like these stupid little bots that like, print money for me, and I'll play with the shit coins because it pretty much uses those asset types and converts them to BTC for me. So it could like catch the small little moves in between and pump out, Bitcoin, which is the only thing I want to save in. Right. But I think like to get the user across, I mean, the reason why I wanted to hop on here and talk to your guys is because I really want everybody to understand that Bitcoin is the future of savings technology, right? It is your 10-year money savings account, right? If you know nothing else about Bitcoin and you're looking to save money for a rainy day, that's how you do it.
What do you mean by that?
And well, that's what Harold. That's what we were talking about, man. It's like I don't know the first thing about Bitcoin. I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to spend it. I don't know literally nothing about it.
Yeah.
But I said, 4 years ago, I was like, I want to be part of this because I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah.
I got a little extra jingle. I'm going to throw it in there and see what happens.
Smart. Well, let me tell you this. If you have a short time horizon or a short timeline and you want to get rich quick off of Bitcoin, you're going to get smoked.
You're going to get fucked.
You're going to get smoked. So don't come into the arena today in today's age with a 2-year timeline, even though I'm making huge bets that in 2 years we're going to see at least a 2 to 3x. But neither here nor there. Like for
But
you
you're
to
talking
be
about 500x.
Oh, well, listen, I'll get to that at the end of the day, and I'm going to print out a simple mathematical equation. Again, no letters involved that will make everybody watching this be like, oh, I get it now.
What's the estimated projection for 2030?
Well, that's $1 million Bitcoin,
Yep.
at least,
Yep.
period, point blank. And everybody and all my friends that are fucking watching this laughing their ass off going, this fucking idiot. Well, we'll see.
That's
You know?
5 years.
Yeah,
That's 5 years.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
5 years.
It's
No,
not that far,
no.
And,
which is scary.
but again, when you know the way our system is structured, and like I said, I had a problem, right? Wife started making a fuck ton of money. I had to all of a sudden become an investor, which you guys know my high school story, D student. Big turnaround there, right? And I had to figure out how am I going to turn this money into more money without losing my wife's fortune, right? And so I did what I was trained to do as, a 35-year-old product of 2008. I diversified my dick off. Right? So I have, and all my friends, the only people who I take credit to that shit on Bitcoin to me, mostly just have superior fiat positions in me, right? Because they've, you're talking multi-generational, close to $1 billion families that they're not in a need to know basis of Bitcoin, right?
And you mentioned that on the previous
We
segment, so.
just started touching, like we just broke 20 million not too long ago, so it's like, we're not there yet, right? But we have an issue with the money that we have on what's the best, vehicle to have that money grow. Right. And me, as again, not being the best math guy, really trusted, a team of financial advisors that have managed my family's money in New York since 1900. Right. And
like literally 1900.
Well, so I told you guys a little bit about Manny's. Manny's was founded, I think, like 1909. They sold the building to Rockefeller in 2007. So yeah, I mean, my family between, aunts, uncles, brothers, great aunts, they probably all touched 100 mil. But at the same point,
Hey, so you have generational
I love how he just says
wealth.
just nonchalant.
No, not me. I mean, I say
family
great
has-
aunts, uncles. My dad is the youngest of. He was the last of the generation.
Last
He
of
was
the Mohicans.
and the hardest working one, the one that tried to save the whole show. But he, of course, got, the shit end of the stick in the situation because...
Didn't you mention a stepdad or some shit? Because you mentioned rich dad, poor dad, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, no. So when my parents got divorced, I had moved to West Haven, that town where it was like,
Yeah, everybody's yapping about
very
money.
average median income, and everyone's super loud about
Yeah,
income. And I started to go, this is interesting, because like as a kid that came from money, that saw how money really operated, it was like an aha moment. But I'm also competitive and I'm a shit talker. So I was like, fuck, these guys want to talk about money? I'm not going to make more money than you, pal. I'm going to make more money than your dad.
Yeah.
And I would talk shit in the locker room like you're not
yeah.
ready for me, bud, because I'm coming for it all. I was an angry kid, divorce household. It not moved 3 times, had to change 3 high schools, 2 different middle schools. Like at that point, I was kind of fed up with the world. I was like, let's play ball. And I thought money was the key to do that. But it took a lot of trial and error to realize that the conventional financial system was working against me.
Yeah.
Meaning that I was saving in dollars. I mean, I showed up to University of Tampa, 19 years old, with $100,000 a backpack, thinking I was the Don Juan. And then
Well, you probably were back then.
No, not University of
Not
Tampa.
UT.
I was.
Oh, no, in 2010, bro.
Yeah, well,
But
it
it's
did
still
not
UT.
matter.
It was
yeah.
still in the middle of the
no,
recession.
all those kids, all
UT
those
is
kids
a-
from
UT
yeah,
is
all
a
those
different
kids
deal.
from Naples and all these fancy little towns had what I had on their monthly spending limit.
Yeah,
like
UT is a
on
different
their
animal.
parents' credit card.
I grew up
And then I
broke.
realized I came from a town where I only try to get women by using money.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I realized I need to change the game here because all these kids
Yo,
have
I
more
bet it
money
worked
than me.
though. I
So I
bet
was
it
like, I'm gonna
worked
try to
though.
beat these kids' asses. I was like, I'm gonna get really tough around here and just start whooping some ass. Maybe the girls will like me that. But it didn't matter because my wife doesn't even like fighting, and me and her fell in love anyway, and so it all ended up being for nothing. But that's just kind of how I approached it because that's how I saw the game. But when we fast forward, right, and back to my girl making a ton of money, I was put in a position where I had to figure out the best use case for that money and how it could grow.
And you had your financial advisor saying you got to diversify real
Literally.
estate, stock
Literally,
market.
yeah, and that's what led us into the real estate game, right?
Did they ever say anything about Bitcoin?
No. Still to this day, no.
Yeah,
I called my lady 3 weeks ago and was like, listen, I want to get in the MSTY, which is, Michael Saylor's income-based, derivative product. And she's like, I can't touch it. And I'm like, I'm so close to having you sell everything and give me my money back and just buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because you can't play ball. And that's just a sign that we're still in the first inning of Bitcoin.
Well, as you said it in the very beginning, it's a very strategic move. These these people that are calling the shots, they know what the fuck they're doing.
Oh, 100%.
They
Well,
know
you
that
saw
they're
Jamie Dimon, was it a year ago, talking about Bitcoin's rat poison.
And they'll never touch it.
Never touch it. Now he's got more than everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, you
Of
motherfucker.
course.
You know, like, don't let me get in an elevator with that guy, because if he didn't say that, I probably would have been buying more. But I'm one of these kids that's, you know, I'm damaged from the old system. So I take a lot of the news as Bible and make decisions based off of that information. And it's significantly hindered where I'm at today.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, that was a big aha moment. Oh my God, all the big boys are in on it, and they're trying to not let you know they're in on it. And that's when I started to do a little bit of research, right? So if you go backwards, you realize that, you know, I think it was 1970 something, we moved off of the gold standard. If you look at how our economy grew before we moved off of the gold standard, the economy was flourishing, right? Everybody was kicking ass, right? Everybody was happy because your money was going further, right? Could you imagine saving money in a bank account in 10 years time from now? That money is able to buy you more than it is today.
That's not the
What
case
a luxury.
It's the
case
opposite.
now.
Hold on.
Yeah,
it's
now
the opposite.
Here's the deal. We just lost 8% on our money from the beginning of the year. This
Since
3
January.
months since January. And listen, I don't care where you're at.
Which means keeping money in the bank account is literally worthless.
The dumbest thing you could do, right?
Yeah.
So, and
what about keeping it in a safe or under your mattress?
Oh, but
even
it doesn't
dumber.
matter.
Might
The
as well
money's
just
losing
roll
money.
joints with
It's
it.
losing
I know.
its value.
It might as well just roll joints with it. I mean, it's like at that same point, it really is cash is trash.
How do I feel like you've done that before.
No,
Rolled a joint
not
with
that
a
disrespect.
$100 bill.
Roll a joint with a little
I
hundred.
I'm
feel
still
like you
Jewish,
have.
pal. You know, maybe somebody else's 100, but not mine, bud. Not mine. No, but listen, you know, if I could, for everybody listening that's like, listen, I don't want to hear about Bitcoin. You know, I think I missed the boat. You didn't. What most people don't understand about Bitcoin is that one Bitcoin is 100 million Satoshis, right? So if you were to think about in the terms of money, right? Bitcoin's market cap is, I think, $1.7 trillion today. The total global market cap of all assets is 900 trillion, right? Now, I don't know, as a real estate guy, I have a sick portfolio and I love going to war with my real estate guys because most of the time I'm talking to a real estate guy, I got more real estate than that real estate guy. And he's telling me, you're a fucking idiot, don't buy Bitcoin. And I'm like, buddy, are you looking at the numbers of your own real estate? I mean, since COVID, my interest has tripled, right? Water bills, all the things I cover for the tenants have close to doubled, right? The average income has literally barely trickled up.
Barely
trickled up. And that's if you got one of the people on the barely scale.
And that's been like that for decades now. For decades.
Forever. So it really does make no fundamental sense to continue to buy real estate at this point, because I've had the luxury of being able to see how some of the sharpest money managers in Wall Street manage my funds. They perform 13, 14% on average, and it's cool.
What if you buy cash?
What?
Real estate. What if you buy cash?
I do. That's all I've ever done.
Yeah. So then why doesn't it make sense? Because historically, real estate appreciates.
Well, again, what you don't understand about real estate is real estate only appreciates because the supply of cash is appreciating. It's the same thing as Bitcoin, right? Except Bitcoin appreciates at a faster rate. So you got to think about it like this.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Real estate, you can rent out those units and you can make money on the property, which is passive income, even though you have to pay property taxes and maybe where you purchase it, HOAs,
In case you didn't know, they're in real estate.
Yeah, great. Love it.
Now, I'm
not
just
talk shit I'm
wondering-
into. Yeah.
I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
what kind of passive income are you receiving from crypto when the only way you can realize your gains is when you sell that asset?
True. No, that's a great point. So from the beginning of time, every asset, the only way it becomes, an income is from selling. What happens is when Wall Street gets involved, they create credit markets around every single asset from the beginning of time, which is why real estate has blown up for our parents, right? Because then they develop these credit products that allows you to borrow against the real estate,
Credit
right?
swaps.
Use that money to obviously do personal things, buy more real estate. It becomes a never-ending credit cycle, right? Yeah. And that's how it's the supply of money is never not expanding. which again, most people always hit me with that. Well, you're never able to generate a yield. You will be, right? And that was one of the biggest takeaways I took from Bitcoin conference last weekend in Las Vegas is as it becomes more institutionally adopted, which you're seeing, companies pile in by the thousands,
daily.
right?
You see it
daily,
yeah.
Right? And also,
the U.S. government is doing it also.
Trust it.
We're gonna get into that.
We're talking about that one for sure. But when you look at the big picture, they're going to come out with credit markets built around Bitcoin. You already see Coinbase just dropped an 8%, right? So you can now generate 8% yield off your Bitcoin. There's about 50 other companies in the marketplace that are now devising ways to generate yield off of Bitcoin. The problem is I'm such a Bitcoin maxi. One of my biggest fuck ups, and I'm sure this will be a great clip for your guys' podcast, is the day I lost $1 million in Celsius, right?
That's right.
Like Celsius, the energy drink?
No.
Crypto holder.
Yeah, the crypto wilds. It was the first crypto bank, and they offered a free lunch, right? 10%.
So many people got
smoked. I mean, listen, I wanted 10%, at that age. Again, I'm competing with my wife here. I'm trying to do everything I can to bring dollars in. I have this sick asset that was appreciating at such a rapid rate. So I say, let me take a couple over here, put it in this wallet, generate 10% passive income, and then play ball. So at the time, there was a time where I was making, $100,000 a month in income. And I'm over here thinking I'm the coolest thing since sliced bread, all to have it rug pulled, right? So
that was in unison right there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
that was.
Oh yeah. So and then again, it was a real painful pill to swallow because not only did I, lose a bunch of money, but I had to tell my wife that I lost a bunch of money and that I don't know if we're going to get it back. To make matters worse, my inexperience of investing, right? I decided to sit back and watch how the bankruptcy played out, which was my biggest mistake to this day. Because this was 2022 when the market crashed down. Bitcoin dropped from, I think, $69,000 all the way to like 13 or 15.
Yeah, so it was something
around those lines. And at that point, when Celsius had filed bankruptcy, they had bookmarked the price of Bitcoin to be $25,000. So I was only getting a true value of $25,000 per Bitcoin. And I believe I had close to 50 Ethereum in there as well. So in hindsight, if I wasn't retarded, I would have just taken the cash that I lost, rebought back in, watched how the bankruptcy played out, and then taken my 30% haircut at those values. I didn't do that, right? So it ended up being close to, growing today, $1 million plus loss.
So was Celsius holding your Bitcoin?
Yeah,
it was a holding.
So it was like, call it like Coinbase.
Yeah, so when it
was a wallet,
exactly,
it was
it's an
a
exchange. Yeah, it's an exchange. Anytime you give up, not your keys, not your crypto. It's a very simple thing to understand. If you don't own the keys to your own, and it's like us guys that we're all pioneers. One of the coolest things about Bitcoin is the first time you ever own your own wealth. Who doesn't want to own your own wealth? I don't give a shit who you are. You could have $1 million in Chase Bank. You go punch someone in the face today, and he's a judge's son. Your account's frozen.
It's done.
But your judge's son had a fucking fat mouth on him, and I want to beat his ass again. So
unless you got a trust.
Yeah. Well, again,
because you could put all your assets in the trust and just be a beneficiary.
No, but there's still always.
Shit.
I mean, look,
they can't sue you, bro. The corporate veil.
I know, but look,
they can try to sue.
There's always ways.
Yeah, there's. Oh, I mean, look at Diddy. I mean, look at all these guys. I mean, all these guys that had hundreds of millions.
Look what Diddy did, though.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying. The point is you don't own your wealth. Like if I wanted to kill someone today. All my money in my bank is gone. All my Bitcoin they can't touch. They could kill me, but then the keys dies with me.
Unless it was in Celsius.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I'm sure Celsius is fucking jerking off to that one. I told Jay, I told my wife, the guy's going to jail for 12 years. I said, darling, if I get in a bar fight, I'm swinging hard enough to go to jail too, and I'm making sure I go into that guy's cell.
Was this Sam Freeman? Was this Sam Freeman?
No. No.
So this was a different one.
Yeah, this is
FTX,
it's Savinsky or something. Some stupid. So
it kind of sounds like Bitcoin can be stolen.
Yeah, Bitcoin could definitely be stolen.
And I'm glad you brought that up. You see what they're doing now. They're kidnapping people that...
Yeah, New York, yeah.
Wait, what?
Oh, they're kidnapping people and holding them ransom. Like, people that are getting on their social media and like, yeah, I got this amount of Bitcoin or whatever. They will fucking come in.
For real?
Well, it's funny. That's why I'm afraid of these fucking podcasts because I just did one with a lawyer, a couple weeks ago.
Well, right now we're recording in Denver, Colorado.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, listen, it doesn't matter. I have enough of a social media presence now that it's very easy to find me. So it does scare me a little bit because when I did that last podcast, all of a sudden I got thousands of phishing.
Are you a 2A guy?
What?
Are you a 2A guy?
What's 2A?
Second Amendment.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Hell yeah.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, absolutely. No, of course.
Make
But
sure-
listen, I'm not. My wife says I grew up in the medieval times. Like, I'd prefer to fight over shoot. Like at the end of the day, if I get
but if
challenged,
you're worried about doing podcasts and people like approaching you, I mean, literally.
but
Let's
true,
go.
but true, and that's a great point. But when you understand
That's what they
Bitcoin,
call the equalizer.
It is. But I think what you really need to understand about Bitcoin is when you own your keys and you memorize your keys, it nulls all threats of violence, right? Because they could come and shoot me, fine, shoot me, but we're both out, bud. It's like at the end of the day, like they could try to torture him out of you, I guess. Like,
But we got kids.
yeah.
Then that changes the whole.
True,
fucking
it
game.
does. It does. I didn't really think about the whole kid kidnapping aspect.
Oh, fuck. That's where you were going?
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Where were
fuck,
you
you're
going?
dark side.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like, we got kids, so we got to worry
He's
about
talking a
it.
Rush Hour
Not
Jackie
like-
Chan situation.
Yeah,
where I got Chris
Rush Hour
Tucker in the
2.
phone. It's like,
Yeah.
I take $1 million in tens.
You want any fives with that?
Yeah, literally.
No, I don't
Damn,
go
dog,
anywhere
yeah,
without a
that
fucking
dark
little
side.
pocket
Yeah.
rocket.
You know
I
what?
should.
Don't go to
I
Mexico.
should travel with a gun more often. I'm not the sharpest thinker. Like, I always think that I'm good enough of a salesman that if I find myself in a physical altercation and they pull a gun, I'll be able to heckle them enough to just call them a pussy to just fight me, But like, I guess my wife said that's not the way the world works.
I would say that's a bad idea.
Now when it comes to that kind of
Yeah.
No, grab the gun.
Yeah, like some old school gladiator, like just 1 versus 1. You win, you get it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give me a fighter's
Are you
chance
talking
out
about
of it.
American Gladiators?
Yeah,
Man, not a lot of people know that show anymore nowadays.
yeah, that's an old school one.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's the whole thing. I mean, and I want to get your opinion on rug pulling as well. I want to go into rug pulling, and I want to go into your whole notes down here because
Got
I
it.
mean, I feel like that's important.
That's the golden nugget for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So we'll take a quick little breather,
Love
refresh our apple
Bevies,
juices.
love it.
Smoke a cigarette real quick.
Yep. Don't
Shout
forget-
out Nectar.
Shout out Nectar. Use Garcia5 as the code. Get you nootropics on. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, notify yourselves, notify your loved ones. We got freaking Mr. Goldrich here
Bing bong.
teaching us some freaking Bitcoin. I mean, dude, you talk as much as you want. I'm all ears. 'Cause
I'm
this-
fucking loving it.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
I'm getting informed here. It's
I
wild.
this
think
is a
when you-
learning fucking deal.
When
Yeah,
you guys
I'm learning
fast
shit.
forward this podcast 10 years from now, they're gonna be like, that fucking retard was right. And I'm gonna be like, and I'm gonna
who's
say, I
Nostradamus
told
over here?
everyone.
He
I
said
fucking
$1
told
million in
everyone.
2030. A
Yeah.
million in 2030.
Listen, it's guaranteed.
10x
you know?
in
I-
5
Oh,
years.
the fucking Joe Namath
Yeah,
guarantee.
literally the Joe Namath. Listen, I'd put my life on it. I mean, that's how serious I'm about it. But we'll circle back to it.
God, now I have to invest in it.
It's a good idea. All right, we'll be right back, folks, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Well, on that note, we are back. We are back,
We are back,
ready to rock and roll.
and we're not
gonna-
fucking leaving.
We're gonna get to this juicy Bitcoin segment.
Yeah.
And the floor is yours. We're gonna
Love
kind of let you kind of rock and roll. Tell us what you kind of saw, what you thought process,
Yeah.
everything with the convention in Vegas.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, it's real easy, at this point to when you look at Bitcoin, given my situation, to just sit and track it and follow it, right? The one thing I took away from the Bitcoin conference was I had the opportunity to be in like private rooms with some big boys with the B in front of the name,
Oh shit.
And what marked me is, and gave me extreme FOMO was the way they talked about Bitcoin and their understanding that Bitcoin is inevitably going to be the backbone of our economy.
So this is what they were saying.
Oh, like with the clearest conviction ever, right? Which to me at that point, given like,
And this is behind closed doors. This is not like
Yeah.
out for the, as you said earlier, the need to know basis.
no, this is.
Can you talk about this?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to obviously swing a big stick to get in these rooms, and I'm lucky enough to have enough Bitcoin to be granted permission to get in there. And like, you know, some of the guys that I follow religiously, you're talking, you know, Arthur Hayes, you're talking, you know, Larry Lepard, you're talking obviously Michael Saylor,
yeah.
you know, all the goats of the space. Like the conviction from that group, which again, like, you know, it's easy for viewers to sit on the other side and go, yeah, but that's not for me, or that's bullshit, right? Or these are just, you know, internet people with internet money. These people kick all of our asses in fiat too, right? Like it's not
right.
they're not like, you know, just Bitcoin people.
What do you mean by fiat too?
Like cash.
Paper
Oh,
money,
oh,
right?
okay,
So it's like
yeah.
Saylor, like his famous story is like, you know, he had a company, MicroStrategy, and he had 600 million in cash, and he was dying, and he felt like he was just going to dissipate into the future and be forgotten forever, you know. And he said he was going to make a radical change, because you have to think, in the stock market, there's, I'm not going to quote these numbers because everyone will pick me apart, but there's a couple thousand companies that make up, you know, the NASDAQ and the S&P, right? Of those, you know, a couple thousand companies, about 10 companies take up 80% of the trading volume, right?
Magnificent Seven and all. Yeah.
So the other thousands are just forgotten, waiting to be roadkill for Microsoft, Amazon, and all the big boys.
Yeah.
So now, and this all goes into why Bitcoin will 10x, because all these companies now, through Saylor's, you know, corporate investment strategy, have a clear game plan of how to survive. And it's by diversifying their balance sheets into an appreciating asset with fixed supply, which is Bitcoin, right? But it was the understanding that these guys know that the old system is broken, right? That, you know, Lynn Alden, right? You know, she coined phrase, you know, the brakes are off the train, right?
Well, let me ask this before we get any further.
Yeah.
We mentioned it earlier. Do you think the brakes went off the train after we got off the gold standard?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you
Okay,
can see,
I feel like that's the exact
you could
same.
see on a chart, right, throughout time, that obviously it started to get wonky about 10 to 15 years after we got off that gold standard, right? And then everyone feels it, right? Why the fuck? I just bought eggs and milk. I spent $80. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole system. And this is why I say it's on a need to know basis, and you should feel as passionate about Bitcoin the way I do, because if you don't have $100 million, then the system is working against you,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if you don't take that personally, then you're not playing the game, right? Then you literally are just a marshmallow in the group, and you're going to get fucking roasted. So, like,
That's fucking hysterical. I like that.
No, it's true. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I don't consider myself one of the smartest people on the planet, but I do know I play the game, right?
There's so many people that aren't competitive, though.
Yeah.
There's so many people that just stick their fucking head in the sand, work their corporate job. I'm going to pay my taxes. And I got a bunch of my friends. They all say, oh, Garcia, you don't do this, you do this. You stick your head in the fucking sand all you want, man.
Yeah.
You take it. You do you. You take care of your family. I'll do it my way, and let's just see. Let's see what happens.
Listen, there's something about human psychology that it's pretty clear, which we've all had, you know, friends in our group that have crazy talent that amount to nothing, right? People are fearful of what they can do, right? They're fearful of failing. They're fearful of being stupid. They're fearful of hopping on the Bitcoin train now and then it going to zero and be like, oh, you're the idiot that bought last. But it's simply because they don't understand the technology.
Do you think
right?
maybe they fear success?
So in some cases, right? Some cases, there's a lot of people that, you know, simply
shoot yourself in the own foot. Yeah,
I see it all the time, right? Like you don't feel like you've done enough to deserve it. And listen,
Imposter syndrome,
100%, 100%. And I touched on ayahuasca earlier. That's a whole different conversation. I won't bring that up, but like that was kind of my first aha moment to understanding myself, to understanding like, hey, I need to make fundamental changes in my life to be able to master the simulation we fucking live in, right?
The fucking Matrix.
Literally, the Matrix, right? No matter, I mean, there's a reason why when you come across some people with some swag and that's driving the $400,000 G-Wagon truck, they're like, what the fuck does this kid have that I don't?
Right.
I felt that way a million times about people.
You're talking about yourself right now.
No, but in the way of the point, like, now, the one thing I will say that I'm never a hater, right? When people are doing better than me, my job is to like ask questions. How?
Yeah.
What can we do? What'd you do? What changed? What got you here? Etc. Right? So many people are so fearful of success that their default is to hate, right? And hating's free, so all the broke people are great at it. But at the end of the day, like, regardless of them hating, yeah, Jesus Christ, yeah. No, and look, I hate even talking about G wagons because it's funny. People see this G wagon, they're like, they're always like, wow, what a sick G wagon. But like at the end of the day, I think I don't want to get cursed off the Bitcoin podcast.
That
here,
still
but
is a pretty sick G wagon.
it is.
Let's look at it one more time.
It's a sick car. The G-Wagon just has such a faithful community that if you say anything bad about it, fucking they show up to your house with pitchforks and fucking fire.
But as you were saying, man, like the it's so much easier to just hate as opposed to like, hey man, good shit.
Yeah. Or how can I learn?
Yeah.
How can I learn?
And that's why I wanted you to get on here, man, and like talk about Bitcoin. Harold's here, he wants to listen, man. Like we're all trying to figure this shit out.
So Stephen's been saying his name wrong the entire time.
Well, is nobody going to correct me on that?
ERROL.
Errol.
Errol, yeah.
Without the H.
Yeah.
Without the H.
I wish you would have told me that before I kept making a fool out of myself.
Yeah. And for those of y'all that can't see him, he's a sitting guest today. So
yeah. Love it. No, I love to have it. And listen, just to circle back to the point you want me to slam home, right? When we got off the gold standard, the Fed, and I don't think you guys understand this, but the Fed was an institution that pretty much is all of our biggest enemy. If you work for paper money and you save paper money, then you should lay a bed at night every day, hope the Fed dies. Because they're the ones that print your money into oblivion and make you lose value.
Create inflation.
Exactly. But the problem is, and to their credit, it's the only way the system continues, right? So when we got off the gold standard, the Fed used to be able, right, to raise interest rates to curb the credit market, right? And be able to like restrict, like help growth, right? And restrict the private sector, right? Which would allow us, to kind of regain our bearings from an economic standpoint as a country.
What, the Fed was established in like the 1890s,
Exactly.
right?
Well,
it was 1913.
1913.
There we go. That's my guy.
So you know what it was? It was after the Trust Buster.
Yeah.
It was
Teddy Roosevelt.
It was after the Titanic.
Which I'm not going to get into. I mean,
that's a rabbit hole you want to go through. It'll wake your ass up.
Like for all the Second Amendment
JP
guys,
Morgan
the Founding Father guys, like all of you guys, that the Founding Fathers wrote about how the Fed, if you implement a Fed, it is the fundamental downfall of all society.
When did it go down? When did it go down, bro?
When they created to realize that like a bunch of the old guys died, right? A bunch of new guys got in the system and figured out how to manipulate it for their greater good, right? And then obviously, what?
Politicians?
Absolutely. Bankers and politicians. I mean, the guys that are running the world today, right? These are the guys that manipulate
Jekyll
the system.
Island, man.
What's
Jekyll Island? That's where the Fed was thought of. That's where it was created.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Go through that. I'm telling you, go through that little rabbit hole. But go ahead, man.
But here, I mean, and this is the one point that no matter where you're at from an educational level, if you could understand this, you understand why Bitcoin is the answer. Now, in today's age, when the Fed raises rates, they just accelerate the national deficit, right? Which is crazy. There's no way to stop this from moving. When they used to raise rates in the Fed, used to slow things down. Everything would pump the brakes. Lending would stop. Credit would stop. Now it's the exact opposite. The economy's gotten too big. We've gotten to a point of 100% GDP that when they start to restrict the markets, the deficit climbs at a rapid rate.
What is the possible solution to reduce the deficit?
Well,
that's a loaded question.
That's a very loaded question.
It's actually
but it's a question people don't ask enough.
So, and I don't want to come off political here because I'm neither here nor there. My whole family, are Democrats. Obviously, now that I'm rich, I'm a Republican. Funny how that fucking works.
Let's go.
Second you have a little bit of money, policy changes a little bit. But at the end of the day, like, the thing about the way the system is structured. So the guys that are in office now with Trump, that Trump brought in, are sharp dudes, right? I can't name them all, but you're talking about big hedge fund guys that have actually solved a lot of huge economic issues globally.
Well, we can name one, right? Elon Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk. So he's kind of out now. He's
out now because he was just a special player.
But I'm talking about the big boys in the cabinets, like the David, I forget his last name.
It's guys that we don't know their names.
Yeah, but they're gangsters. And they don't give a shit if you're blue, red, green, or purple. They're trying to play the game financially, you know? So what they're doing, which is unbelievable, is they're devising unbelievable, unique ways that our old government, our old system would never be able to craft up to settle the deficit, right? So this is a crypto podcast. I'll sprinkle this on here. I'm not supposed to fucking say it, but it was something that was dropped that was pretty cool that I thought was like an aha moment. Like this could possibly work. So our deficit's so massive, right? We just saw what Doge did. He wasn't able to fucking put a dent in it, right? Since the beginning of Trump's office, the last 100 days, which I will go on record and say against my own group, was the coolest 100 days I've ever seen a first president take office. The guy's doing shit. He's mixing things up and he's
Are you tired of winning yet?
Yeah.
Because we're going to continue to win so much.
It was a little rocky with the tariffs for sure, but at the end of the day, his
But the tariffs worked, man.
Exactly.
And they're not over yet.
They're not over
not
yet.
over yet.
We're still in a little ping pong battle with China. If we got to strangle some Chinese, we'll do it.
Right, well, we're in a 90-day limbo with China right now.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, and that's even, first of all, we forget like we don't want to work with China. They're fucking communists. You ever go over there? Everything's on the social credit system. They take videos of you crossing the street. They ding you for shit. I don't want to live in that fucking society.
They are literally communists.
Literally communists.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know why we're putting so much emphasis on playing fair ball with them when they've been robbing our infrastructure for years.
Bro,
that's
a
whole
That's a whole
nother
different.
story.
I love that.
That's a whole nother gameplay
segment there.
So to be honest, China could get fucked for all I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because they've tried to ban Bitcoin a million times, and obviously they actually just banned it yesterday again. It's like I don't give a shit. Because Bitcoin is the solution to all of these issues. The point I'm trying to make is when the golden nugget I took away is the guys that are in office now with Trump, they're thinking creative ways to eliminate the deficit. So we have, I don't know the number, I think it's like 20 or 30 national parks in the United States, right? At a combined real estate value of close to $1 trillion. So
It's got to be more than that, right?
Yeah, probably
in terms of national parks.
National parks.
National parks.
National parks is probably it's.
But you're saying that there's about 20 national parks that, in terms
combined
of its
real estate value,
intrinsic real estate value,
correct,
equate to $10 trillion.
Yeah, and I can't even believe I'm saying this on here because I don't want to team myself up to get
Yellowstone's
dragged in
gotta
the
be one of
mug.
them.
Exactly, Yellowstone, Yosemite, all the big boys, right? And this is a
Grand
cool thing
Canyon,
about crypto.
Grand Canyon, yeah.
As we start to tokenize assets, because you're a real estate guy, right? I'm a real estate guy. I hope there's a day that are tokenized assets, so this way I could get fucking Steven drunk and he could buy one of my properties from me after a few cocktails directly without cutting out all the middleman. As we tokenize these assets, we'll be able to subject out parcels in tokens to outside investors, right? So you're talking about the potential of wiping out the deficit with a simple land acquisition, you know? Like, when you really think about that, it's clever as shit. Like, I'm sure a bunch of these fucking corrupt Chinese guys would love to own a piece of Mount Rushmore for a couple $1 trillion on a tokenization asset, right? A tokenization standpoint where
you're saying selling it to non-citizens.
Anybody who's willing to buy
Anybody
it.
that's
I don't
willing to
give
buy?
a shit who buys it. Well, let Putin buy it. I don't give a shit. I don't go to those things enough. They still stay here in America. You can't move them.
Yeah,
you know? China buys more real estate in Miami than anybody else. They buy more farmland in the
farmland,
U.S. than anybody else. Why not national parks? So we could literally wipe out the deficit with like some clever, crafty moves like that, just to outsource, the sale of our national treasures.
Damn, that's a fucking
genius move.
That's a unique move.
That is unique.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm on board with that.
Well, no.
Well,
let me tell you why it's not a horrible idea. Because at any point in time, the U.S. government can implement eminent domain and seize the property back.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing that the
you know
American
what prima
government-
nocta is, bro?
I do know what prima nocta is.
Do
man.
you?
Yes,
What
motherfucker.
the fuck?
I've seen Braveheart a million times. Fucking kidding me?
This
Next
motherfucker
question,
went for prima
Yeah,
nocta.
next
dog.
question.
Next question.
Yeah, what the
I
fuck?
fucking know what it is.
That's a clever idea.
But again, there's so many
It's a
things
clever
like that
idea.
that we haven't even touched because the old system was so broken, right? They had no problem and again, I don't know where you're at as far as immigration or whatever the shit is, but we have so much waste.
I'm okay with mass deportations.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm
listen,
okay with it.
I just lost my nanny, so it's a tough subject for me.
Oh shit.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You want to talk about
see that.
divorce being on the
Hey,
table?
I like it. You called it a nanny. You mean an au pair?
What?
Au pair.
A pair.
Au pair, yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, this lady was
She
like,
got deported?
No, she had issues and had to go back, and now she's having issues coming back.
Deported.
Yeah, no, she self-deported, which was like
Good for her.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw
good for her.
Jacqueline's story and I was like, oh God.
Yeah, no,
That's all
tough
right.
household right now. We're
Hey, you need to
going
find
through
an
it.
American one.
Yeah, but
They ask for more money.
no,
huh?
it's not even that. Just Americans are fucking shitty workers. You know, everyone's fucking.
They want to get
lazy.
paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah, literally.
Nah, I ain't
Literally.
paid in Bitcoin.
No, definitely not paying in Bitcoin. But yeah, so I mean, once you realize that, like, in order for the current system to continue, they have to print, right? And then you look at some of the challenges that we have facing us, today, with obviously Social Security coming up. You have, obviously
Medicare, Medicaid.
Exactly. There's so much that, like, one small tick or two could exaggerate that entire deficit by trillions more dollars. So at the very least, to maintain the status quo, nothing serious happens, no more wars, we have to inject another $9 trillion
Well,
into the
are you
marketplace.
taking into consideration the fact that the largest generation of baby builders, baby boomers, are going to be dying?
Exactly.
And our population increase is actually decreasing, right? Yeah. So our birth rate is decreasing. Yeah. Boomers are going to be dying off.
Yeah.
Why do we have to print more money?
Yeah.
Why can't we just leave it where it's at? What if the Fed decided today, what do you think the ramifications would be if the Fed decided today we are no longer printing any more money?
Perfect. I mean, that'd be great. System fails, right? And we go to Bitcoin. The system cannot continue without printing
because it's failing.
Exactly,
it's failing.
They have to, and they show that the way they're printing, every time they print an excess amount of money, right, and then we get back to the standard, the next print has to be 2x or 3x what the previous was to maintain the status.
And then the Feds raise the rates.
It's getting bigger each time. There's no way to stop the fucking train.
The train is left the station.
It's gone. It's over.
There is a way to stop it.
The old establishment is dead. They're just holding on because they control everything. They're the only ones that, like, there's some great examples of people that in the last couple of years that, like, were able to pull out more private loans from the government directly for $280 million at 0 points.
What?
Right? Can you do that? I can't do that. No regular person's able to do that unless you're tied in with the big boys.
Right.
So the system's not built for us anymore. If you're not in the 100 mil plus, you don't run Chase Bank, you don't run Bank of America, you might as well just get fucked and go
on your way. Yeah.
Go on your way. Because so Bitcoin is your only solution to a fair system. Could you just imagine, you as the viewer, that if you worked, let's just say you made 50 grand a year, which is the average salary, and I don't knock that because I've been there, right? If you make 50 grand a year and you save, let's call 10 grand a year in today's market, you pretty much are losing money, right? Imagine if you saved 10 grand and you had the peace of mind of knowing that that 10 grand will buy you more in the future than it would today by your ability to save. It would completely change how you handled finances, right? Because now you'd be a lot more conservative in your spending.
Well, Jesse, I mean, I feel like that's, my dad was a financial advisor, and I feel like that's what his entire, and every financial advisor, that's what their model is. It's like, you make 50 grand, you put 10 grand into the market, you make, 8 to 10 to 12%.
Yep.
So you got to do it. Diversify. Yep. Diversification.
For sure. No,
but it sounds like there's no diversification here. It sounds like
that's
Jesse's just saying,
and he was saying that
he's saying just buy Bitcoin.
He was saying that he's like, I wish I wouldn't have listened. That I didn't diversify, and I wish I would just put all my eggs into Bitcoin.
Because I mean, you hate real estate. We know that.
No, I like it from the standpoint that it gives me something to do throughout the day. Because I don't own real estate. It owns me. I work for it.
You don't have a property manager?
No.
What the fuck? Why not? 10%?
Nah, fuck 10%. I mean, I'm Jewish. I like to keep my shit.
Are you Jew?
I don't have enough.
Goldrich.
Yeah, I don't have enough. I don't have enough shit. I don't have 100 doors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
how many doors? How many doors you got?
10.
10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's a small part. Yeah.
But I mean,
Sulphur Springs?
No. All South Tampa.
Oh, okay.
Damn. Hyde Park Village, yeah.
Hey, that's why you were bringing up Davis Island.
Equity, I'm a big location guy, you know?
Isn't that what they say? Location.
Yeah, location. I'm not fucking buying nothing out there in goddamn, what's that place that always keeps going belly up?
Sulphur Springs.
Sulphur Springs? That's about it.
Manny, my brother, his wife grew up in Sulphur Springs.
Oh.
She's Cuban also. So.
I don't know where the hell that even is.
You know?
No.
Yeah, but outside
Born
the
in
doors, I
Tampa.
mean, I have a, outside the doors, he's been in my house. I have a sick personal residence, like it's an absolute castle.
How big?
It's
Square footage wise, come on.
10,250.
Damn, dog, you living in Avila?
No.
No.
He's 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah, 5 minutes from his house.
Oh, so
yeah.
you're living in the Dessa.
No, I'm living in Lutz.
Lutz, man, Lutz. Fucking Lutz.
Yo,
let's go.
Lutz is fucking weird as shit because
No.
it turns from Bears and 41 and somehow makes its way up there by Lutz Lakefront Road.
No, yeah, it's there's Lutz, and then there's
Well, Lutz is all just
Yeah.
one city, but
No, my crib was on that show, Selling Tampa, for a little bit.
for real.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
shit.
We did a pretty cool remodel there. But again, at the point, real estate's cool. And then obviously we have a cool personal residence in Hyde Park Village too, that's not factored into all that. Sick condo. You've been there a couple times. It's a very convenient place when you're bar hopping, have a little quick mental reset over there.
man.
But
Maybe smoke a J or two.
Yeah, smoke a J or two for sure. Do some other things. But
Do some other.
play some recreationals, But at the end of the day, it's just real estate's a job. I think that's the point that I'm
What if you have a
getting
property
across.
manager, man?
Yeah, of course. But to get to a property manager, then you're managing the property manager. I mean, I don't know what property manager does his job at a high level consistently throughout the years.
I'm not gonna.
I mean, I have thousands of employees, that have come through my wheelhouse time for time. Everybody's great the first 6 months. Everybody's great the first year. But what about year 2? If you're not, when the cat's away, the mice will play. It's a famous setting, right? Like if you don't know how to manage,
I thought it was if the rooster's the way the hens will play.
That's probably it.
Well, no. It sounds about both of them.
mean,
are
they're
probably
both-
right.
they're both-
yeah,
they both make sense.
Yeah. No, they make dollars.
Yeah. No, the Bitcoin. But I mean, listen, when you look at it from that, and I think most people don't understand is Bitcoin is a protocol. It's a financial technology, right? It's a scarce amount. If you are able, and I don't want everybody, I'm not like Michael Saylor or I are telling you to mortgage the house and buy Bitcoin, right? I'm telling you to put your coffee money in there daily, right? There's
Expendable income.
Exactly. There's so many cases. I mean, of a person that just over the last 7 years did $30 a day. Total investment, $87,000. You know what their portfolio balance is today? It's probably closer to $2 million now that hit.
Off of 87 G's?
Off of 87 G's, but it was $1 million. It was $1.3 million when Bitcoin was at 60 or 50, I think, right?
Jesus.
So, again, don't beat the system. Don't try to outsmart the system. It's
you're
a
not-
long-term savings account.
It is.
If you do not view Bitcoin as a long-term savings account, you don't understand the technology and you don't deserve to reap the benefits, right? And that's simply where I had some tough conversations with a lot of my friends and family. I am not investing any more money into the stock market. I'm not investing any more money into real estate. I have enough income from the real estate to obviously, cover my bills, and live a good life and travel and do whatever the fuck I want. But I know if I want that future fuck you money, that I'm able to go back to my network of friends that all have way more fiat than me and be like, who's your daddy now, bitch? I know that this is
Playing
my
the long
game plan.
game.
This is my game plan.
I like that he used the fuck you
I
money.
did.
Yeah,
I did. I was waiting for you to
mentioned
say
that.
something.
Yeah, because you remember the John Goodman. I want to do it from a position of fuck you.
Yeah, that's
Oh
me.
yeah, boss upset. Fuck you.
Yeah, but even then, he said 2.5 million on that thing. He's like, "Oh, you get 2.5 million in bankruptcy."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
2.5 million 20 years ago. I'm still not fuck youing people.
Unless it's in Bitcoin.
Well, again, so let's go back to your point earlier about that.
Let's
right?
go.
About
Hold
the
on.
credit market.
We're gonna take a quick little breather,
Okay.
and then we're
Let's
gonna
recharge.
wrap up, recharge. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, get your notifications on. Want to thank Nectar, the Hector Inspector, Nootropics. All right, use code Garcia5, get a nice little discount. We'll be back with Mr. Goldrich.
Bing bong.
Cheers, motherfuckers. But anyways, we are back.
Wow.
Shout
How's
out
it feel?
Nectar.
How's it feel on the Nectar? My boy,
New
just
tropical.
Yeah.
I'm new tropical. I just took a fucking teleportation to the tropics.
Atomic Apple.
I don't know if it's that or these drinks. Something's got me fucking buzzing. Dude.
Oh,
The boys are buzzing.
That's just ginger ale and ice.
Forgot you can never not eat breakfast before you go hang out with fucking
Steven.
Garcia. I'm intermittent fasting. I'm about to be intermittent fucked. It's unbelievable. This fucking
Well,
every time
hey,
I'm with
cheers, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks
You know
for
what?
coming on.
You guys never explained on the podcast. How do you guys know each other?
His brother.
Yeah,
That's it. That's
through my brother.
Just Sean. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think one of the first, you know, Sean's like, you got to meet this dude, Garcia. He's fucking one of us, dude. He's one of us. I didn't know the kid was fucking famous. I've been like, you know, let's tiptoe here with this guy, you know? Let's tiptoe a bit. He's like, no, dude, he's one of the boys. Bring him in.
Is that
You
what
could be-"
Sean said? He was like, yo, Steven's famous?
No,
No.
no, he didn't. He did. My brother wouldn't know. My brother is like the opposite of starstruck. You know, he doesn't know who's what or do. Like, he could hang out with Leonardo DiCaprio and be like, yo, I just met a cool dude. He's half retarded, but yeah. Guy was nice and shit, had money.
His name's Leo.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know
Leo.
him.
I'm like,
His last name's like
DiCaprio,
DiCaprio, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, you met a pretty famous guy there, pal. That's just not who Sean is. But Sean was telling me, oh, the kid drinks, you know, like, because that's at the time we were big hit the rock kind of guys.
Cocaine.
He was, what? Yeah.
Hit the rock.
Hit the rock. Jesus Christ.
Not
Oh,
me.
wait. You're talking about something else.
No, I just meant pound the rock like we like to drink like fish. You know?
Oh,
We just got after it, man. Yeah. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Bleep all that fucking out. God damn.
Yeah, goddamn.
White's going to be on that one. Like, you were talking about that on the podcast? That's your last podcast, Johnny. Can't let him out.
We're gonna absolutely erase that entire.
Reset.
All right, now we're action. All right, welcome.
Wow,
Welcome
seriously?
Yeah, man. Fuck that.
Damn, okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I looked at you. When I look at Steven for guidance and he hits you with the one look away, I know it's a fucked up
Yeah, I'm
shot.
not. Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Hey,
I don't want to pound that
remember I
rock.
was saying I don't give a fuck?
Yeah. I love it. I
Yeah,
respect
it's real.
it.
It's real.
No, trust me.
All right. Well,
Oh, yeah, Nectar. Cool.
Nectar. We are back with Mr. Goldrich. Here we go. All right, let's dive in a little bit more into your notes. That what you had to say. I know there was a lot of confusion going on the last segment, but I mean, just kind of give before I ask you this. What is your opinion on the rug pull? How does that happen?
Can you explain real quick for the audience members that don't understand the terminology?
What
is rug pull?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, there was a sequence of coins. They call them ICOs or ITOs, initial token offerings, right? Where it's anybody, you know,
Like the Hawk Tua coin.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody running, you know, anybody running out of their mother's basement could build a coin, create fake value, say it will deliver a service or real life utility in some way. They get all this marketing hype around it. They pump up, you know, a lot, like, again, with the tokenomics of how those, they're called shit coins, right? Work is you could, like, I could put $5 million in a shit coin, lock it up. So it shows it has $5 million in equity, right? Build a marketing campaign around it. Have a bunch of people come in.
Social media influencer. Yeah.
Like, you know, for you, like football, we could call it the, you know, South Carolina Gamecocks coin, you know?
I just did it.
Yeah. You did it.
I was just involved in it.
You were. Jesus, are the Feds about to break us down?
I'm going to talk to you off air about it.
Okay, perfect. So maybe that was a sticky subject.
It's not a sticky subject because I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. All I did was just press the button.
Yeah, press the button.
This is all allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Very allegedly.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, I've done one too. I came out with a coin a while ago called Change Our World coin. I got with a bunch of guys that I really liked, that really trusted that, you know, we're going to do a coin that, like.
How much did you guys invest in it?
Zero.
You just said that you had to put equity.
No, you can. It's a marketing
to,
strategy to show that the token has value, right? Because everyone's basing, you know, their investments off the market cap of the token, right? So you build a marketing campaign around, you know, the worth of the coin and what it's going to provide and what value it's going to provide and what real world utility it's going to provide. And then at the end of the day, like, most of them do nothing. And then the developers at some point get frustrated with the growth of the project, so to speak, and then rug pull the
whole operation.
Rug pull the whole operation, and the people
What do you mean by rug pull? Cash out?
Yeah, cash out, meaning like
Cash outside.
like there's no real divisibility of like of numerical value, meaning like you could have a coin with 100 billion, trillion coins for whatever the project is, right? And you could lock up, 1 million of them in the value of equity in the coin, and then offer out the remaining balance to the masses, and then take all of their money, sell your ignition stake, and then let them fight over the rest.
I
Isn't this
got to
fraudulent?
talk to you about this off air because
Okay,
you're gonna laugh your ass off.
Isn't that fraudulent?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're going to see a lot of people get smoked.
But it's not illegal. There's no
not
paperwork.
illegal.
There's no.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
think
I fucking hope not.
I think if the intent is there, then it's illegal. But if there was no intent initially to create or to become fraudulent, then you are
Listen,
not legally
I'm
binding.
going to say something
I don't
really fucked up about the crypto world here that's going to get me pinned as a target, but, I don't give a fuck.
Attack.
So I'm going to say it right now. What happens is these devs, right, these developers, a bunch of fucking losers, right?
Yeah.
They're just a bunch of smart kids that do a bunch of coding and do some shit, and they're the ones that could put it together for the salesmen like us, right?
Right.
And what happens is these kids are always behind the scenes. Eventually, everyone wants to be the main character in their own movie, right? And if the kid that built the system could control the system and realize that he's not the face of the system, a lot of these devs are weirdos, They will rug pull you without you even knowing, getting you to front load the marketing,
Can
right?
they even do that?
Especially you get someone like
I'm
Garcia that
I'm
is
telling
like,
you.
Obviously a face. I can't go to the bar without some girl coming up asking to take a picture. Every time someone's asked us to, I'm like, why not me? Like, I'll take the fucking picture, bitch. They're like, go right to this guy. Everybody knows him. Everyone wants to be like, so like he's a low hanging fruit target for these devs because all the non-cool kids want to be like the cool kids. So they just manipulate the game, find somebody that could like pull a little pull in like one specific category, and then they fuck the whole show.
They fuck the entire show, and they get away with it.
Scary group to go after the developers though, because they're sharp guys. Listen, guys, not all of you are pussies, just some of you.
Jesse, when I tell you about this shit off air, because I don't want to.
Yeah,
I will say this, I'm
let's
not
stop
going.
mentioning it. Yeah.
No, because I can't stop thinking about it. Because he's saying shit that I'm just like.
Do you want me to? You pause the cameras and you want to talk about it real quick?
No, fucking let it roll.
Okay,
I'm not.
I just told all the devs to go fuck themselves. So I mean, like, let's keep that in there.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, and that's why Bitcoin is the solution to all, right? Guys, like, nobody owns Bitcoin.
God, you
right?
were on Bitcoin's.
And I love it. That's why we want to fucking on here.
I will fucking spit roast that dick all day for Bitcoin. Like it's the one tool that's given me. It's the one tool that's given me the ultimate power, the ultimate
let me ask
freedom.
you a question because I don't think you've said it yet on the podcast. When is it going to be providing monthly dividends?
Yeah, so that's where we left on the last one, right?
Yeah.
Is every single asset from the beginning of time, and I get this all the time from all my real estate guys, which uniquely, like I'm a real estate guy too, and I love to go toe to toe with my other real estate guys, especially the ones that own less real estate than me, because I'm like, listen, I'm in the game, pal. I get it.
10 doors in, yeah.
Yeah, 10 doors in. But I mean, that's excluding personal residence. When you look at the big show, like it's a pretty sick portfolio. But at the end of the day, every single asset from the beginning of time didn't have a credit market built around it, right? It takes Wall Street to get involved for them to devise credit markets and lending opportunities around that asset. Bitcoin's not there yet. We're in the first inning, guys, right? I just, again, if I could give you guys simple numbers without fucking letters in it, that's a theme of this goddamn podcast.
Yeah.
There's 900 trillion in global equity. Bitcoin is at 1.6 trillion. Bitcoin eats half of every asset on the planet.
So 1/900th.
No.
Yeah, 1/900th.
Yeah. Well, it's 1/900th now.
Yeah.
It will turn into a $500 trillion asset. So you're looking at a 500x from here over the next 35 to 40 years.
Really?
If you got that kind of time, pal, and you're not playing this game,
And I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like, it's the time. And I think this is a great podcast. I think I'm learning a lot
Yeah.
from it. I hope these people are learning a lot from it. But Let me
Listen,
ask-
some will, some won't. So what? Fuck it. I don't care if you do or do not do, right? I just come to the point, and I'm not here to sell you on Bitcoin. I've done everything under the sun. You know, I've played the game to the best of my ability in
if you,
every
if you
single
don't get it, you're
sector.
gonna get caught with your dick in your hand, and
That's
you're gonna
what
be
I'm
like, God,
saying.
I wish I would have listened.
Well, it's even like now.
We're not gonna get paid from a Bitcoin sponsor on this shit.
Or how do you know?
Well, shit.
Come on.
I wouldn't
Think
want
big.
to. I
Think
wouldn't
big.
want to. I wouldn't
Think
want to.
big.
I'm happy with Nectar, the
Yeah.
inspector.
No, I mean, listen, I have a goal. I want to get on a couple big boys like, you know, Larry Lepard, you know, obviously Michael Saylor, Arthur Hayes. Those guys are all gangsters. But like at the end of the day, guys, like Bitcoin's the only tool that benefits you, the user. Right. And that's what I just don't understand people's hatred towards it. It's like, guys, it's the first time an institution doesn't control your future.
Right.
There's a couple guys in a boardroom that could fuck your whole show and everything you've done from an investment standpoint. Like, you know, not to shit on your investment, but the one you're just showing me. No, and it's great. I mean, from a
No,
number
that's
standpoint,
the
I would do
truest
that
thing.
all day.
Yeah.
But one
Jesse,
dude
that's the
could wake
truest
up
thing.
differently tomorrow and be like, we're nixing that dividend.
Or-
we can't survive off of that. Let's maneuver
or
the
get
numbers.
fucking killed by Mario or whatever the fuck the guy's
Or the
name is.
grandson takes over and the grandson's a fucking cokehead. Like, I don't know.
Who's the
you
guy that
know?
just died from the United Health? That just got killed.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
I don't
smoked,
know.
yeah.
Oh, are you talking about the CEO?
Like Mario or Luigi killed
Yeah,
him.
Luigi
Yeah.
killed him or some shit.
Yeah,
So-
how'd that stock do since
But-
then?
but-
Stock is taking a fucking shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
So to his point, it's you can do industrialized or institutionalized assets or go to crypto and you kind
yeah.
of
It's
control your
secured.
own deal.
It's
Yeah.
secured. So my whole thing is that but generating passive income,
Yeah.
it's a little bit harder when you own Bitcoin. And I'm not against Bitcoin. I never said
Yeah.
I'm against Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin, I agree with you, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe not the 10x part, maybe 500,000 in 5 years, but my thing is
Miss the boat.
No.
yeah, miss the boat. Well, hey, I'm investing in Bitcoin.
Listen, again,
But,
I know
I'm
no
saying,
fucking
like,
crystal
for
ball.
someone who wants to create passive income,
Yeah.
how are they going to do that with Bitcoin, bro?
Well, you just came out. Coinbase just dropped its first 8%,
Yeah,
right?
8%.
fund on that, right? But again, if you're a real Bitcoiner like
And
me,
that's APY though.
yeah. But
So you're looking at annual percentage rates, bro.
of course. I mean, what do I get for hard money? I mean, I'm putting 600 grand on a house in Ocala next to a fucking horse
Yeah, but then you
stand.
may be selling it for 800 after you rehab it, right?
Well, no, I'm not doing. I'm just hard money lending on it. I don't give
Oh,
a
okay.
shit
So,
what
yeah,
the
yeah,
borrower
yeah.
does
You're-
with
you're
it. I
just-
mean,
You're
they
getting
could
your
light-
points up
they could light
front.
the place
It
on
balloons
fire
in a
for all I
year.
care.
You're getting your
Yeah.
points up front. It balloons in a year. You made your money.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 6 points on 100K. Let's just call it 100K for the sake of math.
Yeah.
You're talking about getting $6,000 up front, and then they got to pay interest-only payments. And you are a lien holder on the property. You hope they don't default on their loan,
Yeah.
because if you do, then you're the one who has to sell the property. I mean,
Sure.
real estate does have a lot of collateral behind it.
Yeah. Well, listen, and I just want to be crystal clear. Like, once I came across the Bitcoin model, I transitioned my entire real estate portfolio to be every dollar I had in mortgages out on personal real estate. And this, again, I think I'm genius for this, right? This was the Jay Birdie thought that ended
The
up
Jay
being
Birdie.
the Jay Birdie thought that I ended up being like, maybe I am the fucking guy, right? But who knows? That's for the universe to decide down the road. But I took every dollar I owed in real estate, put it out in hard money at 12%, right? To satisfy my existing real estate portfolio. So no matter what, every dollar I make outside of real estate is just icing on the cake for more Bitcoin, right? So that's the way I play the real estate game. I believe in it. Everybody always needs a place to live. I have a really cool network of people that do really well in it, kids that kick my ass in real estate, and I will never knock real estate because I do understand there's value there. But if you're talking about the apex asset, you're talking about
Long-term investment.
you're talking about the one that's going to outperform everything,
Long-term.
long-term,
Long-term.
including the S&P 500. That is Bitcoin. Period, point blank. No matter how you shake it, slice it, or dice it, Bitcoin is the only answer. You got to think.
That Bitcoin conference really got him fucking
Oh,
going.
I mean, dude, because there's
that's
guys.
that's a telltale
Dude, there's
sign.
guys in that Bitcoin conference that I had private meetings with that were, telling me very simply, like, yeah, I have $2,000, bud. What do you got? I'm like, 10. They're like, yeah, you need more Bitcoin, pal, because it's the end game, right? Every market, every financial instrument that's ever been used since the beginning of human civilization never starts with a credit market. it's always built in once it becomes that useful.
Damn, you're hyping me up, man.
Dude,
I know. I'm
I
getting
mean,
fucking juiced
Listen,
up too.
Yeah,
one
man.
day, and it's so funny because you got to
I
think
think it's the nectar that's got me all fucking fired
the
up.
I didn't-
nootropics got me ready to send a buy
So let
order
me ask
right
you
now.
a question. What if someone walked up to you and goes, "Yo, Jesse, I'm gonna liquidate everything I have, and I'm gonna just throw it all into Bitcoin."
I'd say
Your
genius.
your opinion on it?
Genius.
You would tell them.
Genius.
100%.
As long as you have a long time horizon. If you
Yeah.
need the money in a year, I'd say
And
not
he
sharp.
he said that
10
several
years.
times.
Like, if you want the for sure fuck you play, it's 10 years. If you want the, like, might be dicey, 5 years. But if you want the for sure, I guarantee I don't have to think about this shit for 10 years. And I know that in 10 years time from now, I'm going to 10x my money. That is Bitcoin point blank. It's the fastest growing asset in the world. The numbers show this is not just like my opinion.
Yeah, no.
I'm not
it's
the
a fact.
opinion guy
It's
to
a
give
fact.
deliberate
Yeah.
advice on other markets. I'm not the S&P guru guy. I don't pretend to be the smartest guy in the room. I always am just a student of the game. I've had more than 99% of the population. I have more fiat than, more real estate than, more everything than. And I'll tell you, I'd bet my whole life on
That's
Bitcoin.
all we have to look at right there. Let's go 5 years.
5
That
years.
is 988%. That's a 10x.
Nothing else touches it.
That's
my
a
guy.
10x right
Nothing
there.
else touches. And listen, people just want to like. It's the same thing.
I
Everyone
agree
wants
with
to
you.
say
I
everything
don't.
is a
I
scam.
want you
No,
to
no.
understand that I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, you're
I'm just asking
Team
questions
with
that
great questions.
I'm
Yeah.
asking you questions that the audience members may have.
No, smart.
But what I feel like the audience would ask, how do I get rich fucking quick?
Yeah, which is
And
the problem.
quickest way is
Yeah.
find some dev guys
Yeah.
and fucking pull the damn
Yeah,
rug.
hope you have a little bit of Instagram pull where you have some following. If you don't have a following, you're
Yeah.
smoke.
I tell you, you're
You
gonna,
know, like,
you're gonna shit your pants when I tell you this
I'm
story.
excited to hear. I might have to
So
double down with
essentially,
it.
this is a long-term play.
I want to play too.
This is a long-term play. This
Yeah.
is what it is.
It's
if you're
savings
trying-
technology. It's number go up technology.
Yeah.
It's mathematically built to go up over time. Not and again, if
exponentially.
again, just look at the
We
way
just
our
saw
government.
the chart. It was
Yeah.
exponential.
If you look at the way our government operates, they have no choice but to inject at least $9 trillion into the economy over
And
the
that's
next.
and that's what I know. You said you wanted to get involved in the
Yeah.
government side of things.
Yeah.
Go ahead and
Rip it. I mean,
rip it.
again, so we're looking at the way our economy prints money to stay afloat, guys. If you don't understand this simple fact, you'll never understand money, period. Right?
There's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
There's 99% of people that
Yeah.
have no idea. They stick their head in the sand, say, "Oh fuck it," it's all whatever.
I'm gonna work my 40-hour a day job,
and then I'll party on the weekends,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
then get back to the grind.
So while we're out here filming podcasts at 2
Yeah.
o'clock.
So I mean, listen,
Getting
when
ripped.
you look at it like this, right? Like, if you want to be a stock investor, right, you need a series of mathematical equations to factor in the future value of that stock. The value of that stock is based on future production, not money now. Once I understood that, I realized that whole game's fucked and rigged.
Can you
I
say
want
it
no
one more
part of
time?
it.
Can you say that one more
Yeah,
time?
once I
They're
realized
trading
that,
on multiples.
yeah, you're trading
That-
on a
Future
stock's
yeah.
ability to provide future value, not the money they have today.
And it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit
it's
because they have no
Nvi-
idea what's coming around the corner.
Nvidia's trading on 300x multiple or whatever.
Well, it makes
Get the
sense.
fuck
I'll
out
tell
of
you what,
here.
no, bro.
Get the fuck out. Listen,
I
because
have
AI
Nvidia, so I don't.
AI
Listen.
is the future, bro. You know that.
yeah,
You
well,
know that.
I wasn't even gonna fucking bring that
Oh.
trick to this fucking party. But guess what the AI is gonna use? You think they're gonna use our retarded ass fiat system, or you think they're gonna use programmable money that could be settled instantly? I'd say
They're gonna
programmable
crack the fucking
money.
blockchain.
Yeah.
You don't think they're gonna crack the blockchain?
Well, I mean, are you talking about quantum? The quantum's ability? Well,
Correct.
yeah, but if they crack their blockchain, they're definitely smoking your 4-digit, ATM pin.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's-
saying?
that's
Like,
true.
like your whole bank account smoked too, pal. Like that's the thing. Everyone.
So then,
wants-
what the fuck are we doing?
That's all. Well, at the end of the day, I think we'll be able to use $100 bills as toilet paper in the next 10 years. I really think.
I hope
think
we do it in less than that. With Bitcoin
That's
just
what I'm saying.
skyrockets up.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, Elon Musk said it, which I agree with him. Once the singularity is cracked, which is AI consciousness, that what you're going to see is
We're cooked.
no,
Yeah.
bro. What you're
think
going to
we're
see,
cooked. I
what
think
you're going
we're
to see is a
cooked.
universal income.
Well, listen, I don't
You're
think
going
we're
to see a
cooked.
universal income.
I don't know if we could.
He said this what was that, like 2 years
They have
ago?
no
3 years ago?
choice. They have no choice.
To
We
have
were,
a
we were out there
universal income.
fucking. We were out
I
there
told
ripping.
we're doing a seance to Native American flutes
Native
around
American
my
flute
fire
in
in the
his
backyard,
backyard.
and I told him exactly what was going to happen in the next 10 years. Because you have to
literally
understand,
said the exact
this
same
room
thing.
is a bunch of gangsters. You're a hustler. You're a hustler. There's a bunch of viewers in here that are fucking hustlers. 90% of people are fucking dopes. 90% of people
I
don't
would, I
even
would, I
care
would
to
pump
play.
that number up a
I
little
would
bit.
But I'm
more.
just saying,
I would say
just being
99.
conservative, just being conservative. Most people are going to get absolutely fucking face slapped by what comes in the next in the next 10 years.
10 years. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, actually, you know what? In the next 5 years.
Possibly, but at the end of the day, you have it. This is a participation trophy economy. Everybody has to play, right? Or else the whole game's smoked. That's why they have to print, because they have to feed the bottom of the pyramid.
So do you agree
God.
with a universal income? Once
What?
you see is, the Optimus robots from Tesla,
Yeah.
right? They're going to be walking on Mars before one
Yeah.
single human being walks on Mars. You ever see the movie I, Robot?
For sure.
Bro,
Who hasn't?
that is what we're going to go towards. I, Robot. That is literally going to
I
be
agree
our
Well,
future.
Sean, he
Why don't you-
literally was saying that there's going to be a universal income. We were sitting there. I'll never
Yeah.
forget. I was
There's
sitting
going to
there
have to be.
in his 10,250 square foot house castle. We were ripping and listening to Indian flute, and him and his brother just like, and he's like, there's going to be a universal like income, right? And we're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, well, listen, you got to
And
think
then
of
he
it like
starts going
this,
on,
man.
I'm like,
It's a fact of
I
the
just want to
matter.
say the one thing
I
the
agree.
one thing I share with Garcia is, like, I don't have the football ability Garcia has, but I'm a locker room guy, man. I'm the guy that in the locker room when we play football, I was the warrior for the group. My whole job was to be. I was a middle linebacker. I wanted to hit people. I wanted to hurt people. I wanted to play ball.
That's
I was
usually
the
how
warrior
people
for my
play.
group.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing when it comes to finances. When I love people, I want them to know the information I know. I want them to feel what I feel and know that what's coming, because I want to help all the people I love, including obviously my brother, my sister, Garcia, their friends. So I'm very passionately spoken when it comes to people in my network of what I think is going to happen in the future and what I know is not working today. Because the only people who don't think that I'm right are the people that have been gifted way more than me through generational wealth. There's not one kid making more money than me today in the real world that doesn't think I'm right, right? And that's a unique situation. I haven't come across one kid that's kicking my ass in fiat that's like, yeah, you're retarded, right? And to that point, now there's a bunch of broke motherfuckers in my network that are like, yeah, you're retarded, it's not right. It's like, okay, motherfucker, well, your shit still sucks. So
Yeah.
how do we solve that today? I'm telling you, you need a sound money system. It's proven. It worked on the gold standard. It shows. If you had the ability to work for money, no matter how little or how great, and you knew that the value of your money would buy you more in the future, the entire world changes in your benefit. If you don't understand that, you're a part of the problem, and I don't fuck with you.
Let me ask you a
But
question.
but
Do
Jesse,
you ever
dude,
see?
that's and Sean, that's part of the fucking problem is that there's these people, and there's no shortage of them, and I think, and I give
It's
him
because
shit all the time.
all they know. It's all they know.
It's
Wait,
all
give
they
me
know. It's
shit
all they've ever
about
been
what?
taught. I give you shit about AI. I fucking
Oh,
hate
AI.
AI.
I love
I
AI.
fucking hate it.
I love
It
it.
is.
He
our-
was just
it-
running up investing. I mean, but true. Did
It
you
is our
see?
fucking
Watch.
doom.
Hold on this. Tag Michael Saylor's 21 Ways to Wealth from 2025 Bitcoin conference on this fucking podcast, and he literally incorporates AI into every decision he does today. It's a conglomerate of consensus of information that supersedes my dumb CTE brain from hitting people with my head my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is.
That doesn't bother you though. That is, I mean,
what?
yeah.
What? That
I'm seeing
AI,
I'm seeing
AI
my son
makes life
do-
easier?
I'm seeing my son do fucking homework for his high school using ChatGPT. He doesn't look up anything. He has no idea what the
Yeah.
fucking color purple is.
No, and he should.
We
but at
started
that
this
age-
thing with ChatGPT.
Steven, how old are you?
I'm 37, man. I've seen.
Do you
enough-
remember
I've seen
the
enough
first
AI movies.
dial-up internet?
I've seen Age of Ultron, man. I don't
Yeah,
fucking,
Listen, you gotta
Oh
think.
my
You gotta
God,
think.
Age
No,
of
no.
Ultron,
But
dog.
but
Yeah,
but.
he-
I don't fuck with. I don't
No,
wanna
but
fuck with
Garcia,
it.
to his point, dude, he's old. He's an old school soul, and I love him for that very thing.
We're
And
the same age.
He is no old school soul. I said,
Oh,
Yeah,
old school soul.
Oh.
It's a good point to what he makes, because AI is the inevitable downfall of society.
No.
I mean, eventually,
Yes, the fuck
That's
it
very
is.
pessimistic. That is very pessimistic.
No, but eventually, I mean,
Oh my
listen,
god, now he's
yeah,
pessimistic.
no, but I'm
No,
saying
I said
eventually.
that was very pessimistic.
No,
that take.
eventually it has to be. I mean,
No,
you gotta
no,
think
because can you see the upside of it? The ability for AI to take control of everybody's life and everything that they can do.
But
and
you don't believe that
and
the
now
AI
you are
now
you are free to
generates
live.
its own
Now
consciousness
you are free
and
to
controls
live.
it?
Not a free to live.
Now you are free to live to do whatever the fuck you want.
You are right.
What are we
There's
gonna
going to
do?
be no. But
You're gonna go on vacation. You're gonna go on trips.
Yeah,
You're gonna do whatever you want because nobody has to work anymore.
Sean, your timeline's just fucked. You're right. You're 100% right. He's
see,
right
he
and
said
you're
it.
right. No, but no,
Oh,
he's
you-
right. You guys are both right, but your timelines are off, right? In the short term, AI is going to be fucking amazing. In the next
I
10
agree.
years,
I
we're going to be
agree.
able to do things we've never been able to do. We're going to be able to manage our businesses. There's going to be businesses that are worth trillions of dollars with 6 employees. The
Yep.
guys are going to be richer than everybody. It's going to be the coolest
Yep.
shit we've ever seen.
We don't
But
need.
in
We
Nef-
don't need lawyers.
Don't need lawyers.
Don't need lawyers. I drafted a fucking contract with. Hey, shout out Nectar.
That's what I'm saying.
Drafted out a contract with them.
That's Michael Saylor's standpoint. Is look that up. 21 ways to Bitcoin wealth,
I
right?
wanna talk shit
And
to
he
him.
literally explains you that he doesn't do anything. He built both of his MSTY bond yield products.
Through AI?
Well, you were talking about how do you generate yield, right? So, MicroStrategy or strategy now came out.
MSDY?
What?
MSDY?
MSTY.
TY. Okay, that's why. I
So
couldn't
they
find
just
it.
came out with a bond product that generates, I think, it limits the downside of Bitcoin, gives you about 10% upside, maybe 8 to 10%
This one?
upside on Bitcoin. Yep, there you go. Bada
Alright.
boom.
Dividend yield,
Yeah.
history.
So they just can't. He built this with AI. And he says, if your lawyers don't listen to AI, fire him.
135%.
That's what I'm saying.
$30.25
He was showing us
a
18
share.
he was showing
This
us-
is annual. This is annual.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Why didn't you send me this shit?
because I didn't even fucking know about it.
We
Well, what the
just
fuck
met.
do I pay you for?
I didn't
You
even
don't pay me at all, motherfucker.
Nectar's about to pay your ass.
Yeah. Well, look at this. Okay, so dividend. So they paid $2.37. Yo, bro.
I told you.
Fuck.
So
TSLY.
again, if you're not in Bitcoin, you don't have the money to play. If you're scared of one, but again, I don't want that to be the case. If you look at one Bitcoin and you don't see $100 million, because that's the divisibility of it, 100 million satoshis, then you're just not.
But here's the thing. You're talking about a long-term investment strategy
long-term savings
It's
account.
gotta be long.
as
term.
opposed to producing passive income
Yeah.
for the individual that
Well,
say
he was
works
saying
for
that
40 hours.
Coinbase is now offering
I
that.
don't. I'm not disagreeing with
Yeah.
Jesse at all.
Yeah.
Like
No, he just
whatsoever.
shooting shit up, yeah.
I'm taking
I'm
that
with you,
in,
yeah.
but I'm also trying to be able
You're
to.
an income
come
guy.
up-
You like to get your money working.
I want it now.
I'm with you.
I
No,
want
it's
it now.
smart.
It's my money.
for
Call
sure.
JG Wentworth,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
No, yeah.
On that note, we're gonna fucking take a breather.
Can someone load me up over here? These things are rolling.
Call
Damn,
JG
Wentworth.
877 cash now.
Yo, oh, we gotta cut that out, don't we?
JD Wentworth.
Y'all
All
ain't
right,
paying
we'll
us.
take a quick little breather. We'll be right back with Sports and Suits with Mr. Goldrich. Like, comment, subscribe, notify all the whole operation. Shout out to Nectar.
Come on now, boys.
We'll see you in a minute.
And invest in Bitcoin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back
We are back.
after a quick little ABC run in the fucking G-Wagon.
Allegedly.
We're back with Mr. Goldrich, and
My wife.
yeah, he's got to go play some basketball after this, allegedly.
Break some layups.
You're gonna play basketball after this?
Have to.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How?
He's an athlete, man.
Yeah, brother, play ball. That's it.
Yeah,
Next
play
question.
fucking ball.
I mean, I
Let's
play
go.
ball too.
You know, my
Soccer.
thing is, yeah, listen, I respect it. So for me, it's like I can't do cardio in the fucking gym. I need something competitive to do some cardio,
Yeah.
you know? And like I was
Can't
asked-
jog in the it's-
Literally, I'm on the treadmill. It's like next thing you know, I'm just wagging watching. I'm looking for the girl's
Can-
fattest ass.
Can I ask you about who do you think is the one athlete currently right now that is playing in any sport that is single-handedly holding up their sport?
I don't even know what kind of fucking question that is. Angel
That's
Reese?
fucking-
Caitlin Clark.
Angel-
Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark.
This guy's gonna get smoked. Caitlin Clark. Oh
Yeah,
my
dog.
god! You're
I was
talking
trying to get you to
women's
say Caitlin
basketball?
Clark, dog.
Women. I mean, that whole Angel Reese.
You
Caitlin
couldn't
Clark
pay me enough
drama.
money to give a shit enough
Yeah.
about any of that.
All right,
I
how about
swear to
Scotty
God.
Chef?
The second you start talking about women in sports, my dick gets soft. I don't know what it is, but like I'll say it. I like watching women play sports. I just end up wagging watching. I'm like, who's got the fattest ass
Yeah,
on this
that's-
course? Like period.
Yeah,
point
that's
blank.
a moronic moronic question. I feel like we need to cut this entire segment.
You know what? Fuck you,
A
Sam.
reset.
All right, yeah.
You know
Factory reset. All right, we're back.
Factory
No
reset.
inevitable reset.
That's still gonna be on the episode,
Thank
dog.
God,
Folks, we're back.
The wagon watching thing will get me in a
God
fucking full blown
almighty,
divorce.
we're back from ABC liquor and wagon watching.
Come on, Johnny.
Good lordy.
It's unbelievable. No, I mean, listen. Obviously, here's the thing. I mean, I think 90% of your viewers, they're all sports guys, right? I mean, we're all sports guys at some point. If you're not a sports guy, you're a fucking pussy. I don't know what to say. But like at the end of the day, some of us just aren't that good. Like I wasn't that good. Like I could pridefully admit that I was good. Now,
But you have to like something else.
You have
If
to
you're
like
not good at
something
sports,
else.
you have to like.
You have to
be.
figure something else out. You can't just suck at everything and like wander through life and be like, I got this thing sorted. Like no, you're a fucking pussy. And that sucks, and no one wants to be around that energy. So yeah, I mean, like, listen, when it came to sports, and I know you Lutz boys here, and I live on the same streets as the fucking Lutz Chiefs.
Yeah, he's a
and
Lutz
I
guy.
was a fucking,
He's right
Pop
down the
Warner
road.
prodigy, even though my brother and you will both cringe at that fucking statement. Pop Warner to me was the fucking highlight, but it was like, I wasn't in the fucking gym in high school. I didn't think being in the gym was that fun,
It's
Like,
not.
Did you
It's
weigh
not.
more than what you weigh right now?
No, I weighed way less. I was 170 pounds.
As an inside linebacker.
As an inside linebacker. Just to give you a fucking...
How tall are you?
This tall. I've been this tall since I've been 13.
No, I'm not getting...
6 foot.
No, man. It fucking. It's not fun. It's not glamorous. Like
Yeah.
and I didn't like doing it,
Yeah.
but I was pretty good at it. So I was like, well, shit. I might as well kind of
Yeah.
dive in on this shit to the same point where like you're on the crypto side of things. Just like I'm pretty good at knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. So
For sure.
why the fuck not dive in on this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the key to my success has always been, I've always been looking for the best opportunity. And, like, regardless of what you want to say about me, like, my wife will say, like, sometimes I'm not the most productive, so I'm always looking for the easiest and best way to make money, if I'm just being honest to the viewers.
Everybody is, though. Everybody
That's
is.
what
You're
I'm
not the only
saying.
person.
Yeah.
But
I'll
guy's
admit that
mentality.
proudly.
But I feel like that's not entirely true because you're going long on Bitcoin. So, I mean, that's not the easiest way to make money now, is
Well, it is when you understand it.
When you're, yeah,
It is when
kinda
you understand what the technology is, it becomes a fucking
But you got a
no-brainer.
10-year play.
When it's, yeah, for sure. I'm able to do that because of my situation as cash flow and finances. It makes it way easier than the most, right? The person that, husband and wife, W-2 job, combined income, 150 grand.
So full disclaimer. Let's get a full disclaimer here. Do not buy Bitcoin with money that you are not prepared to lose.
Correct.
Kind of
But
like
that-
going to the casino.
It's
No,
not
no,
even
but it's
prepared
not
to lose.
even that.
It's having
stock
a short
market,
timeline.
But
Like,
it's stock market in general.
yeah.
You see shit on Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley. You see there's little
Yeah.
infomercials on CNBC all the time, like, due to your fiduciary, whatever.
Yeah.
Don't give money that you feel like you can't win back.
Exactly. Like I
Okay.
said, the casino, right?
The whole
Because
life is a
do you ever
casino.
go to a casino with money that you can't afford to lose?
Well, hold on. Can I stop you?
I
both?
never do.
Hold on,
I go
can
to the casino with money I can afford to
Yeah.
lose, and I'm willing to lose it.
But I have a
Yeah.
question. Can I stop you guys both there for a second? The second you guys both started making money, and I know you both have made some money in your time, how challenging is the thought of investing, right? It's not as easy as people think it is, right? Everyone's like, oh, just put in the S&P and you make 10%. Okay, fine. Inflation's 12% and I'm losing 2%.
I have a truthful answer I could give. I fucking hate it.
Hate it. It's stressful.
fucking hate it.
There's
It's
so
stressful.
many variable
Cuban.
factors.
Yeah.
You're Cuban.
Well, so are you.
I know, but my dad was a financial planner for 40 years.
So you asked Daddy to invest your money
Correct.
Well, he went to Daddy for guidance.
for real?
Yeah.
Who doesn't go to... Listen, it's an
That's what he
inevitable-
fucking
What does
did.
he take? What does he take? Or he does
I
it for
hope he
free?
didn't take a fucking thing.
No. I'm saying like
Every
financial advisor
takes
takes
1%.
Yeah.
1%. That's the rule.
So
1%.
does your father take from your portfolio?
He's
Do you
doing
know
the work, I'm sure.
I would.
Or
I
is it?
would
Well,
assume
I'm
not.
thinking
I would
because it's his dad. Maybe
Yeah,
he's
I
gonna be
would-
like, I'm gonna do it for free for you.
Listen,
Steven.
but you guys are
But-
missing the point of this whole thing. It doesn't matter who the fuck's investing your money. I could
I
have
agree.
fucking
Yeah,
Jerome
we are-
Powell investing my fucking money.
But the
Yeah,
thing
I
is,
agree.
it's
That's a good
stressful.
It
It's
is
stressful.
The
bro.
thing is, when you have money, you have a real problem on your hands.
Okay.
Most people don't understand that. They think that when I have money, I'm rich. It
I just-
doesn't work that way. You
I
have to.
I have to play. I'm sorry. I have to
Go
play devil's advocate. If you're a normal person, and we're all normal
Yep.
for the most part, I mean, we're all fucking
Sorta.
savages. But you go to fucking McDonald's. McDonald's is what, $30 for a whatever.
What McDonald's are you going to?
It-
man?
Hey,
the
anyway,
point-
you
the
had a
point-
fucking three Happy Meals. You're $30, brother.
The point
the
is
game's
that,
changed.
The point is that instead of taking that $30 and go to McDonald's, why not put $30 into the McDonald's stock market?
Turn into
ticker.
87 G's and then turn
You know what I'm saying? Like it's
1.3 mil.
Yeah.
it's shit like that. And you know, I see it all the time. It's like
Well,
instead
I'll
of getting
fucking
that
tell
Starbucks
you why.
coffee, invest in Starbucks coffee's ticker.
Okay, I'll tell you why. Can I tell all the viewers why you don't put the shit in fucking McDonald's ticker? Because there's fucking 17,000 people that decide the outcome of your money, right? Like McDonald's, when you invest in McDonald's, you're investing in a series of executives and providers and financial people that are running that whole fucking conglomerate. Bitcoin is decentralized. It's a technology. You're investing in a protocol. It's nobody's involved. I don't have fucking 10 guys that are trying to jerk my money off in St. Bart's next year.
But
I have nobody involved in my money. I have a technology that's going to go up over time. That no matter what, if I know the increase of money supply going up, the value of my Bitcoin is going to go up. And as long as I don't have a short time horizon, I'm going to be richer than this.
Outside of Bitcoin.
But as you said, it's like, why? So if I'm the
average investor.
average investor, I don't forgot what they call them.
Average
pussies?
investors?
Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Average
pussies.
investor.
So if I'm the
Pussies.
if I'm the pussy investor, which you know,
I've
sure
been
I
pussy
have
investor
been.
many times. Yeah.
Yeah. Why take $100,000 and put it in a Bitcoin as opposed to putting $100,000 into the S&P?
Well, first of all,
NASDAQ,
when you say
into a-
100,000, that's not pussy investing. I'm
Okay,
talking about
a
pussy
thousand-
investing is like
$1,000. My bad.
$500.
$1,000. $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, very simply because you don't have control of your money the same way you do when you invest in Bitcoin. There's so much more. There's so much counterparty risk when you invest in the traditional stocks and the traditional stock market. Even the S&P. The S&P is an average of multiple companies. There's so many players and actors that you don't know what they do. I got to be honest, guys. Everybody has this fugazi understanding of what these like top execs are. They're people just like us.
100%.
There are people that are just early. There are people that are just connected. Family was super rich,
100%.
loaded up. They got their fucking great uncle and nephew now running the show that were just handed a fucking opportunity, right? That is, you eliminate all of that counterparty risk by investing in Bitcoin today, right? I don't trust people anymore. You were talking about AI. I'm a big AI guy. I'm not going to talk about what I think. I think long-term AI is bad. I think short-term AI is very good.
Long-term AI is going to be good, man.
That's amazing.
No,
if it
no,
is,
it's
it's
not.
amazing for
It's-
all of us.
Yeah,
It's
it
amazing
is.
for all of us. If it's not,
Absolutely
it's not. But at the end of the day, I'm talking about today's value of money. If we're talking about that financial equation, the present value of money versus the future value of money, the best bet in today's dollar is Bitcoin, period, point blank. It's mathematically proven to go up. It's number go up technology.
And I like that number goes up technology. That's
it.
why I have the S&P directly behind you over your left shoulder.
Love it.
That shows over the past 5 years, if somebody invested 5 years ago, they're up 87.24.
But people don't want, and I'll say this, you know.
Now I want to pull
People
up.
don't want fucking 5 years from now. They want 5
That's
minutes.
you know
from
what
now.
those people are? Those people are instant gratitude,
Yeah. Gratification.
And now let's
That's
look
the
at
world we
Bitcoin.
live in.
Yeah.
Now let's
That's
look
the
at
world we live
Bitcoin.
in.
985% over the past 5 years. Bitcoin
That's
has
nuts. That's
solidified the fact that investing in Bitcoin makes more sense in dollars than investing in the S&P
So
500.
let me point something out. Can you bring that chart back up? Because
Oh.
I just want to point some things out to you. That's why not everyone's
Bitcoin
cut out
chart?
for it. Yeah, the Bitcoin chart. Just real quick. Because this is what's
What do you want me to go 5 years, 1 year max?
Yeah, 5 years. Where you
Let's
just
go
at?
5 years.
So look right here, right?
Right here?
So what is this? What's this dip
March
right here?
2021.
The dip. No,
The
dip.
dips. I
A
just
little
want
left.
to track
the
the dips
dip,
right here. All of them.
46.
46. Right here, you have what's this one at the top from this top at 60,000 down to this top at this bottom
34.
at 34, right? And then what's this top here at 62?
64.
What's this bottom right here?
38. No, it's probably a little bit less.
What's the timeline? Just give me a timeline.
We're
chart
talking
here.
about like months.
Months, exactly. That's why
35,
people
yeah.
aren't fucking cut out for this. Because these dips.
Yeah,
are
but
what-
we also said the shit is stressful, right?
it is. But at the end,
fucking
if
He's not
you're-
doing day trading.
I'm not
We're
day
doing
trading it.
trading.
I'm not trying to beat Wall Street. I know I'm not the guy. I couldn't get past Algebra
Well,
1.
it's not
But
even on Wall Street, is it?
what? Oh, it is. Oh, it's on Wall
Bitcoin's
Street
on
now.
Wall
but-
Street?
Are you
Brother,
fucking?
it's
Oh,
black,
you're talking
bro.
about through ETFs.
Dude,
and
the
things of
big
that
dogs
nature.
are manipulating
Yeah.
the fuck. So I'm gonna give you actually one golden nugget. I completely forgot about this, and this is gonna rock your viewers' fucking minds. Okay, so
Hold on, let's lock
here's
in.
the
Let's
fucking
dial in
bang
here.
tang. I'm a fucking idiot because I don't understand the game notion, right? So there's a Etherscan, right? Etherscan allows Wall Street, the big hedge funds, to understand retail entry versus non-retail entry. And literally all they do all day is swing the numbers to sweep the fucking idiots, right? So if you're looking at a short-term time horizon, brother, you're not beating Etherscan. They know when retail enters, they know when retail exits. They're not going to fucking run the market until they know 90% of retail retards are going to exit. It's completely manipulated. As is the stock market. Hate to break it to you. I knew the stock market was manipulated years ago, which is why I was always hesitant to play because I was like, I'm not that smart. I don't have those skills.
Yo,
But I
Jesse's
do
got
have
this,
time.
dog.
I do have time. So if you have more time than you have money, Bitcoin is for you. If you have more money than you have time, you probably think Bitcoin's retarded or a
waste of
scam.
time. Yeah.
Or
Right?
you have
Because
$100 million.
that's what I'm saying. And it's so funny because after a few cocktails, everyone has 100 million, right? And I'm fucking
don't.
sick of hearing
I
that.
don't.
But at the end of the day, I do have a network of I would say 6 of my 7 best friends all have 100 million, period. And they're not lying. And they all call me retarded daily. And I enjoy it because at the end of the day, I know my time horizon is going to supersede them. And when the
So
table
they're not getting involved in Bitcoin.
no, they do actually. So funny. The kid who just called me and then goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I've answered, called me 15 times a day. He's worse than my fucking wife. He literally, I showed him my Bitcoin at the bar. I was like, one day, I was like, listen, buddy, let me show you. And at the time when I first met him, 5-6 years ago, it's a couple $100,000 portfolio. He's like, wow, you got that? You're retarded and you got that? I was like, yeah, I got that, motherfucker. So out of spite,
Yeah, I got that. Motherfucker.
out of spite, just because he's, big dick, King Kong, wants to be richer than everyone, bought exactly what I had at the time I had it. Now he's flexing to the fucking oligarchs of his family. Like, look what I did. I'm like, no, tell them it was me because you just wanted to beat me, bud. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. All I can say is if you can't handle the swings, if you don't understand long-term investing, you're not built for this game. But if you do want the guaranteed number go up and you do want the peace of mind of knowing that your money will be worth more in the future, Bitcoin is the simple answer to the equation because you're not smart enough to understand the existing investment infrastructure.
Can I ask you a question? You keep mentioning your
No,
best friends
no,
off
no more-
air.
no more-
I
no more
don't need you to say their names or anything, but are they all also generational wealth?
Yeah, generational, of course, 100%.
So you don't know any 100 millionaires that had nothing.
No, I know a bunch of kids. I do know a bunch of kids. I don't know if they'd like me to say their name or not. I do know.
Let's not say it if you don't know.
let's
I
say
just
it.
don't know. But I do know a bunch of, especially Tampa boys here in Tampa. Like obviously, know a bunch of kids that have generated, a
Millions
mass
of
wealth through
dollars.
$100 million funds, like in hard money. I do know.
Ryan
they're-
McGinnis.
good friend of mine. He's a great example.
Okay.
Gangster. Kid's a gangster. His whole family
he
gangsters.
is. Yeah, he
And those
is.
boys
started with
roll.
the pizza shop.
Yo, and they rip. That's a great example of that. Actually, I played basketball with his little brother James. I say James. I'll tell you what. Of all the people, James Chandler, different last name, brother of the family. That kid, I'd bet my fucking life on.
Fuck yeah.
He's a workhorse. He hustles. He doesn't play. I'll drop this kid's name, Sam Silverman. Kid, I met this kid in the gym when he was working for a fucking regular company making a couple $100,000 a year. Within that made a couple $100 million in not
Lending?
made
Lending?
acquired a couple $100 million into his fund through LinkedIn, and now is a fucking baller. And that's a kid, I respect everything he says. He understands Bitcoin, not crazily invested into it, but understands that it's definitely potential to be the future.
Because he just doesn't care about Bitcoin, or
No,
it's irrelevant?
it's his niche. He's a smart guy. He understands math. He understands how to
riches
do
are in
things.
the niches, bro.
I don't have his same skill set. I don't have the Ryan McGinnis skill set of understanding, being able to sit down with a fucking calculator and play these mathematical
we
games.
might actually know the same people.
Oh, definitely.
you probably
we're in
definitely do.
Tampa's a fucking small town.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of
1.54 million people in Tampa.
Exactly. No, and then listen, if I say
Or
those two
Hillsborough
names and I
County.
don't say one of my best friends, he'll fucking kill me for this. But I got Alec Cancio. 27-year-old kid out of fucking Miami, took over his fucking family shop. It's a it's almost $1 billion operation.
Let me ask you a question, man. Do you realize that once you start having friends that are millionaires, millions come easily, right?
No,
100%.
fuck that. They're the cheapest bastards.
No,
ever.
but that's not what I'm
fucking
saying. That is
I'm
not
sure-
what I'm saying.
No, that's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
What I'm saying
You're
is
100%
once you
right.
start
Through osmosis,
surrounding
yeah.
yourself
Through osmosis,
with
true.
individuals
Yeah.
with high net worths, you realize that obtaining a higher net worth is possible and faster.
Yeah. No,
and
true.
I want
You're
to
the
change. I
average
wanna
of the
change-
five you hang around for
I
sure.
want to change the subject almost fucking completely drastically.
All right.
That is 100% the truth. I've lost many friends because they just don't have the same. It's like Wolf of Wall Street. They just don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste. It doesn't seem.
Well,
the
you
same.
gotta. We talked about that. You gotta have kids around you that are playing the game, right? Like
You
kids.
keep saying
and
kids, man.
We're kids. I mean, we're fucking
I'm
kids.
36, man.
They're still
You're
kids
30.
compared to
We're still
fucking
kids.
7-year-old.
Yo, we're running
Warren Buffett.
circles around. We're
You know what
running
the
circles
average
around these 50-year-olds nowadays.
You know what the average lifespan of a male in the United States is? 70 years old.
Oh, I thought you were about to say 37. I was
70
like, damn, I'm
years
definitely on
old.
the lower end of that.
We're
Well, then
middle
what
aged.
the fuck are we talking about?
We're
Yeah.
middle aged, bro. We're dying now.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have roach blood. so
No,
don't
listen,
tell
I
me.
don't listen, and this is the thing. This is the thing why I've always been hesitant to talk about Bitcoin, because I'm in some cool spaces with some cool guys, and there's a bunch of kids that think, again, I'm a fucking crackhead for the way I think about Bitcoin, and I understand their thought because they've developed a really cool system within the fiat system that works for them and prints cash, and I get it. And we make money too. My wife runs the fiat. I would say my wife kicks all their asses in fiat. But at the end of the day, I'm playing the end game because I want the easiest and fastest way to wealth. I want the quickest way that's going to put me in a position.
That's what everybody wants, right?
Well, of course, but I have the timeline to be able to play that
Yeah,
game.
timeline
I'm not
is-
looking for short-term gratification. I'm not looking for money today.
long term.
I'm looking for what at the end of 10 years, I want to come and say, hey, not I don't have 100 million in the fund, but I have 100 million liquid personally. And I think when I get to that point, I'll be able to have a very different conversation with these guys. And sure, I'll cover a few rounds, but I'll also hit them with a bunch of fuck yous, I told you so. So when I get there, we'll
Which
get
you
there.
already had a fuck you, I told you so 5 years
did.
from now, $1 million Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we hit $1 million Bitcoin, which when I say if, it's not a
5
matter,
years
if
from
it's
now.
a matter of when.
2030.
So if I told you, listen, I'm not a time traveler. I'm not one of these fucking kids that are telling you I come from a different, universe, and I'm
Are
here
we
to
sure?
tell you.
Are we sure?
Maybe.
You
Who knows?
multiversal travel?
Maybe. Who knows? But
You
I
got
do-
Thanos in your blood, dog? What's going on? Dog?
Possibly. But I'll tell you right now, it's inevitable. If you understand money, you understand Bitcoin's inevitability to $1 million. If you don't understand money, I don't want to beg and plead and borrow. Like
I just wonder how many people are gonna like watch this episode and be like, "That was a waste of hour." And change."
Nobody's gonna fucking say that.
Well, let me
I
tell
feel
you-
like a lot of people do, man. There's
No.
a lot of people that just like, you know what?
Were
give
you
a shit
here? Bro, we were talking about everything.
this
Yes,
is-
I know, but I'm saying like, there's so many people, to his point, that are saying like
Oh, you're
$100,000.
saying-
they discredit. They discredit.
I'm not. It's too much. We don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know how to touch it. I don't know how to use it.
So let me break it down
So
to you guys
you're
like this.
saying the brokies.
No, it's not even the brokies.
not-
Because the brokies use this the best. The brokies could use this to change their situation the best. If you are capped, let's just call it, you make less than $250,000 a year, and you're not taking the surplus of your income and investing it into Bitcoin, you are significantly fucking yourself. If you
Absolutely.
make $250,000 a year and you take
You're paying taxes in how much? 33%?
it's crazy.
The inflation is another 8%?
Another
I think
8%.
it's 28%.
You literally
Well, whatever it
have
is, you're
the
getting
power.
your ass whipped.
Yeah.
Whipped. You literally have the power with Bitcoin today to change your financial future significantly.
So
Well, you see the NFL guys are getting paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah, look at Odell Beckham.
Odell
What's
Beckham,
the
there's-
guy's on his tail end of the
Yes.
career, invests his last fucking salary
real?
in it, and now
Yes.
he'll never have to work again.
There's
Oh,
some guys.
Okun, the fucking...
is the National Football League paying the player?
No,
in
I don't know if they're doing
the
that. I think they're
franchises are
converting
paying the
it.
player.
I don't know.
In Bitcoin?
I don't know. All I know is
Yo,
that I
you
saw-
just said it, Steven.
I
Wait,
just read the fucking the highlight.
They asked for their Bitcoin. They asked for their salary in Bitcoin. I don't know if the NFL converts it for them or if they have their agents convert it for them. Regardless, it's the
If
smartest
I had to
thing you
guess,
could
the
do.
agents convert it for him.
Yeah,
and the agents
because
are
the
taking
NFL's is fucking old
the agents
school
are
anti
coin clipping a little bit.
little Bitcoin for the agents.
Yeah, like them Fenteddies out there.
A lot of fantettis.
Yeah.
Shout out
You
to
motherfucker,
you,
fantetti.
you fucking
I just say-
Canadian.
If I could leave the group with one thought, I just want everyone to know this from the bottom
Damn.
of my heart.
There it is.
If you're slightly disadvantaged financially, or if you have the slightest bit of disadvantage when it comes to earning income, your only hope is Bitcoin. If you
But
don't,
why do you? Let me ask this: why do you give a shit at what these people listen to? Why?
I don't.
It doesn't.
I don't.
So I'm glad you
Yeah.
said that because we're not selling.
Yeah.
You're
Anything.
not selling a product.
Yeah.
We're not selling.
Well,
anything.
we're selling nectar.
We're you know.
We're selling nectar.
Well, it was just like it was my come to Jesus moment, so to speak, of like, holy shit, I've been playing the game wrong, right? Like you realize, like I looked at how all my mentors and all my advisors and people I trusted in business that were older than me just had such an old school approach of how to invest and how to conduct business, how to do things, and I realized like it just doesn't hit nowadays. It's not the same.
It's not.
The game is different. It's rigged against us. No, even I say this to like, the people I admire the most that have made great money. I've fucking outperformed them. I've kicked their ass 10 times over in just value by owning Bitcoin, a scarce, desirable asset that will be the future of sound money.
Why don't you own businesses, man?
Because I don't want to work. I want to travel.
But
I want to
you,
live.
You can own a business without working.
It's a management. I think I've been a man. Listen, so we talked about this at the beginning. I started a company called getoutofdebt.com with one of my mentors. I've had call centers in multiple countries. I've had multiple employees. I've done super cool things. All of those things have just stolen my time. They give me exchange of fiat. It's amazing.
Why don't you hire someone to manage it?
You got to manage that motherfucker.
No, you don't.
What?
He's
Not when
been
you
saying
pay him
that. He's been
properly.
saying that since.
Listen,
you asked this question.
I said human nature is flawed. Human nature is flawed. When I bring people,
Elaborate on that.
Look, so
now you got to get an
So
AI.
I'm rich. No, so when you have money the way I have money, and I hope this, if my wife's gonna fucking kill me for saying it.
Fuck it.
Are
When you
okay
have
to
money
say
the way
this?
I have
Yes,
money,
he's okay. It's fucking
people come
recorded.
into your network trying to exploit you. It's not how do I make money for you. They don't want to make you any more money. They're fucking sick
They
of it.
want to take.
So if you-
they want to take money from
They
you.
want to take money from
Which
me.
is, by the way, I
I've
need you
given
to
a job-
sponsor this
Yeah,
episode.
let's go. I got you. So I've given more opportunities to my friends in my network than I think anybody else has because I have the biggest heart ever and I've gotten burned every single fucking time.
You typically do.
It's the way I roll. Like because I came from such a dark place. I remember when I was begging for an opportunity as a kid, I thought that if anybody gave me the opportunity, I was gonna fucking grind for them. Never I was gonna fuck the person that gave it. So I thought I came up with
People
this
are fucked
genius
up, dude.
business model
People
that
are
if I
fucked up.
provide these opportunities for my friends and network, they would do the same. It's not true. They fuck you. They all fuck you. They just want to take from you as much as they can and do as little output as they possibly can. And that's how you know the difference between A performers and C performers. So,
Well, just you have all.
and that's why I say
one term
for
I'd use
all
to
the
describe
people
it.
out here that are just in it for them, if you just want if you just want to make money for you, if you want to make money for your family, and you want to set yourself up for 10 years, The very simple answer to all of your problems is buy Bitcoin, keep it in cold storage, set it and fucking forget it. And in 10 years from time, pay your homage, pay your dues, do your work, and you will be fucking significantly rich.
And invest in Bitcoin-backed ETFs as well that pay monthly dividends.
If you want income, I mean, that's a way to do it for you fucking savvy investors that Bitcoin doesn't produce any money.
It doesn't.
But it just
Until
grows at
you sell it.
5,000%.
Until you sell it.
Yeah, until you sell it. Well, what I mean,
Well,
listen,
it's either
everybody
that or
calls it.
just start robbing motherfuckers.
It's like, what else you gonna do? I'm done with violence. I'm not in the shape of violence anymore.
I want to get started getting violent again.
Violence.
Yeah, he's like robbing my. It's like I get it.
I want to start Robin Hood. You know?
I mean, fuck it, dude. I mean, listen.
we ain't in fucking Nottingham. You know, we ain't.
My problem is
you might have to get
my
that
luck
there.
is if I robbed somebody for $1 million and they fought back and I knocked them out, they would then sue me for all my shit. So it's like it's a lose-lose for me. Even if I win the fight, I lose, and that's what my wife told me. She's like, Jesse, even if you take your big dick macho,
Do you know why?
But you got to put the Biden mask on.
No.
Put the Biden
Because-
fucking silicone
Well,
mask
this is
on.
what it is, man, because the majority of the people that you're going to assault are broke ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And they will find out who you are and they will sue.
Well, that's the problem with driving the cars I drive around, because I drive super aggressive and people test me more than ever in these cars.
As long as you don't end up like one of our previous guests, you'll be all right.
So I'm gonna need you to sign
Yeah. I was about to say.
a podcast
Little
guest
NDA.
release form.
Let's go.
Or should I? Nah, man, you're good.
I'm good.
You gonna
That's
do it?
shocking. That's
I'm about to go
shocking.
put up 20 points at the JCC in about 15 minutes from now. So
You know what it is? And Jeanette was telling me this. She's like, yo, make them sign the podcast guest release form. And I was like,
I will, just for your peace of mind. I absolutely will.
and then, well, I told her, I was like, Jesse, no, he's good.
I appreciate that.
He's good.
Sports and suits, man. People just getting
Yeah.
fucking
Smoke.
Hey, you know why? Because you got long hair, don't care over here.
part of the
Yeah,
deal.
him and
John Daly.
You gotta
looking
watch him
motherfucker.
and my brother. I tell you what, these guys are wild boys, man. I'll tell you, they. I don't give a shit about shit. They give me anxiety sometimes. Once they start drinking, I start to
it's-
call the lawyers like, "Hey, we covered."
Hey, let me tell you something. You got nothing to
That's
worry
it.
about. Let me tell you why. Because I saw him skeet shooting. This guy couldn't hit clay until he goes, all right, so does the bullets track? And then he hit like 7 in a row.
Yeah, I'm not a shotgun guy.
Yeah.
Not a shotgun guy.
But he did hit 7 in a row.
Yeah.
Did hit 7 in a row.
The guy's
I'm
a
an-
fucking savage.
I'm an AR guy.
I wouldn't call him a savage. I call him a Cuban without a flotilla. That's what I call him.
He's the most unique.
That's the most
Cuban-
dangerous motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you're half Cuban,
Yeah, they
half
are.
Native American, right?
In German.
We didn't talk about that enough. I want to leave it with that. The Native American flute.
Oh,
To
shit,
everybody
yes.
watching, I just want to
Let's have to
leave
So
it
are we going to
fucking-
film another one?
It's gonna have to be a
Come
little
back,
longer.
yeah.
All right.
You want to come back to
I'll
that?
come back. Let's roll.
So we'll
Like a quick- like a
10
5-minute
minute
deal.
10 minute. 10 minute.
We'll
Well,
come
he
right
said
back.
4.
No, I gotta go. I gotta go at 4. Can we rip it real quick or no?
Yeah. All right, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to another episode of Sports and Cock and Balls.
Welcome back to. We have no idea what's going on here.
It is 8 p.m. We have been drinking since 5.
No
And
one's had breakfast.
this is pre-recorded, which means that we are 5 o'clock somewhere.
I love it.
Hey, seriously, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Love it.
Dude, this was needed.
Necessary.
Absolutely.
Necessary operational procedure.
Bro, you know what? I like him and Mac Low Max, which episode 1 already came out.
I'm telling you, that's why I want to get these guys on there to where they're explaining the business models. They're explaining shit that these people need to fucking realize. You have no idea how many motherfuckers are out there that literally don't give a shit about anything.
Or have
They
no
sit there, they're
guidance.
reading their biology books, they're going to fucking sleep, and they wake up in the morning, they're going to PE.
No,
They just, the
everybody
system's
thinks
flawed,
money
as you
is
said.
so further advanced than it needs to be, and that's the problem with the fucking system. Everyone thinks you have to be a fucking quant, a Chinese fucking absolute math.
Are you talking about The Big Short? This
Yeah.
is my quant.
Yeah,
this is
literally.
my quantitative.
No, it's true.
His name is
Great
Chang.
It's true.
And then it goes off in
'cause
camera,
for me,
I
I
speak
felt that
English.
same way when I started making money. I'm like, fuck, I need a quant. I need somebody who's gonna know the shit that. It's like, no, you just need a technology that's not gonna fuck you in the future, Johnny.
Like AI.
Well,
It's gonna fuck you in the.
Have you ever seen
It's gonna
Terminator?
fuck you in
It
the AI.
could fuck us.
It is.
Could fuck us.
Don't get me started on AI, dog. Y'all
Listen, if you
motherfuckers.
want to talk about AI, I could talk about fucking aliens, but that's a whole nother one. Okay?
The fucking islands.
The fucking aliens.
the fucking island.
I don't know how you
fucking
guys have all
island.
these football players on these small ass chairs. I can't seem to get fucking comfortable here. I feel like I'm in a purgatory on this fucking.
Are you
why
telling me
it's-
that couch is huge?
That's why
This
you gotta get
thing?
tequila.
Hey,
Yeah,
listen, you
Jesus
got lightning
Christ.
shooting down your arms?
Me? No. Bang.
Raiden.
Hey, all bullshit aside, man. I think this was a hell of an episode.
Love it.
I know you gotta go shoot some hoops. Are you gonna hoop?
Yeah, I got to go fucking put 20 points
you
up
gonna-
on the
you're
Jewish
gonna put in
Community
that
Center.
fucking point.
20 points, brother.
No, you're
But
gonna
you
foul out.
Guaranteed at the JCC.
You're gonna foul out.
Oh, yo, you know me. I'm retarded. Well, that's at the real league. At the league where they actually call plays. I don't even want to say the name because I hate everybody.
Why don't
fucking
you
in there.
just say
Besides
it
the
then?
owner. The owner I love. The owner I love, Scott. This kid, he's a nice kid, humble kid. But all the kids that are in this fucking league, they're like 22. They think they could have been somewhere. They call it the could have been league. I call it. It should have been called the never been league because the kids were never going to be anything. But they all think they could have been ballers. It's like, brother, if I played basketball my whole life and I played like you, I'd fucking shoot myself in the face.
So you're talking about flag football.
No,
Well,
literally,
I want-
it's like the flag. It's like
Well,
the
here-
kids that think flag football is the same as NFL. It's like you're retarded. It's not. If I put on pads, you'd be breathing out of a fucking straw, Georgie.
Well,
Okay.
here's what I want to know. All bullshit aside, what would you be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing?
Bitcoin right now. Period. Point.
No.
I've been-
If you weren't doing
If you weren't doing,
if you were
like,
not doing
I've been
what
in
would
sales my whole life.
What would
I
Jesse
sold-
Goldrich be doing?
So it's important to viewers. I don't want people to think I'm some like pompous fucking asshole that came into money.
really
now. Of
because
course
they
I-
already figured that one out within the first 5 minutes.
What a dick. it accumulated. It accumulated. You look at the start, it wasn't the same.
Hey, I'm buying Bitcoin right now.
I love it. No, but listen, at the end of the day, the answer to that question is like, I was a salesman. I was working like anybody else, $40,000 a year jobs, grinding it out. My whole professionalism was built around outselling the person next to me. I just thought I was the best telephone terrorist in the world.
Oh,
I
shit.
thought I was the best
You were doing cold calling.
cold calls from the very beginning. It was my first
With
real
a script
job.
or without a script?
With a script. We were selling small business startups. That's a whole nother thing. I was actually
What
scamming.
business?
So we're starting Amazon affiliate sites. You want to talk about a hard racket?
Oh,
And I was telling people that
no.
potentially upon their corporate line of credit, we could
God
transfer
damn.
their business debt off their personal credit cards and into the company's name.
Yo, how many did you sell
A lot.
in 1 month?
I mean, I did 780,000 in 1 month.
How much of that did you get?
A lot.
No,
Like 22%.
22%.
When
So
you're talking about
14K,
A lot.
140K.
At 20
That's
years
what I was about to say,
old,
that's
it's
a
a
lot
lot
more
of
than
money. At
140K.
20 years old, it's a lot of money.
Damn, so you got 150K for selling. Damn,
But it was a
dog.
scam, and you feel bad, and you realize that the
Can
company
you
doesn't.
give us the script?
Do
real
you
quick?
feel bad about scam though?
Yeah, 100%.
It's not a
but at the
scam.
end of the day, well, because
It's not a scam.
As a kid, you don't know it's a scam.
It's not a scam.
Shut up. Let's be honest. Do we all feel bad if there's a scam?
It's not a scam.
I don't know
though.
if I feel bad about it anymore.
Well, here's
They
the
have
deal.
to sign documents, man.
First of
But
all,
I just don't know if I feel bad about it.
In
I see these fucking houses on Davis Island.
What
you
are
don't
you
think
talking
those
about?
fucking
What
people
are you talking about?
are scamming people?
No, they're
What do you
definitely
mean?
scamming.
What do you mean they're scamming people? Elaborate.
Do you don't think that the Wolf of Wall Street was
Listen,
the only person?
Can I summarize? what
Okay,
what
all
the
right,
fuck he's trying to say?
Yeah.
The point is no one wants a scam. No one wants. But in a dog eat dog world, you'll do what you got to do.
You have to do what you gotta do. I
Bitcoin
agree.
eliminates
I
that.
agree.
You don't have to do that dirty shit if you
He
invest in
always goes
Bitcoin.
back to Bitcoin.
Of course,
Yeah.
because it's my promised land. It's the vehicle that has allowed me to realize I'm going to kick the shit out of my wife. I'm going to kick the shit out of all my best friends.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to
You're talking
no,
about
not physically.
financially.
Financially, yeah.
Financially.
No,
I was like, God
My
damn,
wife-
man.
no, my wife will give me the
What
ones
is
and
this,
twos,
Fight
brother.
Club
She's
over
got
here?
hands. No. I don't play that game. I'm not fucking. I'm not. What's his
She's
name?
Cuban. I
She's
bet
Cuban,
she
yo.
don't
She's
play
got-
that
No,
game.
she don't play that
She
game.
don't
You,
play that
you
game.
go to the house, you say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
If you have the fucking slightest smirk on your face, you get the backhand. So no, but I'm saying like at the end of the day, we're in the financial game. No one even cares about being tough anymore. I thought when I moved to that blue collar town, West Haven, it was about being tough. I thought if I'm the toughest dude in the world, every bitch is gonna love me and everyone's gonna love me. Then I realized that's dumb. because that's not true. Now with UFC came out, I mean, I'm 35, so this was before UFC. Now UFC came out, it's like you could even see the UFC people, even no matter how praised you are, you become dog shit in a year. It means nothing to be tough.
Not John Jones.
It means John Jones, but look at Conor McGregor now. All of a sudden, Conor McGregor's fucking getting like washed by everybody. Like it's not as fun. The point I'm trying to say is when you put your fucking heart and soul on the line physically, it's not as fun as it is financially. If you sell out financially for something that puts your family in a position to be, back to our initial meme, fuck you,
Money.
right?
Fuck you, money.
Fuck you, money. That's what it is, boys. I mean, that's the game. Like, we could do all day. I mean, I'm a fighter through and through. I mean, someone spits on me, I'm fighting all day long. Right?
New Haven, Connecticut,
but it's
dog.
not cool. It's not cool. I'm not prideful that my wife says I have a degenerate issue, right? Like I'm retarded. I don't think things through. I don't, because I'm wired that way.
I feel like you have to be a little bit unhinged in order to make the kind of money that you do make. You have to be unhinged.
Not my wife, though. She comes from a perfect family, perfect girl, perfect everything. Everybody
bro,
happy.
because y'all met in the sophomore year UT. I mean, she didn't know what the fuck she was
gonna
do.
If I take fucking the slightest bit of credit for my wife's production on here, she would burn the house down. So I can't do that.
That's a Cuban bitch.
Yeah, that's a Cuban bitch. If you even say my success is your success around Cuban bitches, they will shoot you. So I'm not saying that.
Hey, wait until you meet a Russian.
Yeah, what's hers is hers, and I commend her till the day I die. She put us in a situation that was fuck you to everybody, and that's super cool. My whole scarcity mindset came from protecting it. And I've done every game in the book: real estate, hard money lending, fucking real estate,
crypto investing.
Crypto killed it all. And not crypto, Bitcoin. Because I have,
that's crypto, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have more ETH and more Solana than most people have real estate, and even still, the one thing I'm the most sure about is Bitcoin.
So how the fuck, and talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. How do people create generational wealth? How do they create just literally generational wealth?
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna have Bitcoin, how do you hold it? What do you hold it in?
Dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Take your Starbucks money.
Say it like a 5-year-old, man.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what the fuck dollar cost.
Take your Starbucks money. Take the money that you would spend on bullshit every single week. Figure out what your expenditures are, what your hard spend is, and take the surplus of that income, a percentage that you want to save away for 10 years, and put that into fucking Bitcoin. If you do that in today's age, even at $100,000 Bitcoin, you will transform your life. You just need time. If you're impatient, you're going to get fucked. If you have patience, you're going to get rich. It's that simple.
What platform should they use?
I mean, I don't give a fuck. I use
Robinhood,
Robinhood.
Charles Schwab, E-Trade.
Use Robinhood. Use Coinbase. I don't give a shit. Just at the end of the day, I do have a little bit of trust issues because of what happened to me with Celsius.
I was about that. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. Exchanges are a little rough. You could buy it on any exchange. Just transfer it into cold storage. I use Ledger. Ledger.
You said cold storage.
Cold storage, Ledger.
Can you define that? Because for the
cold storage is where you're able to store your money offline. You're able to keep your. You're
talking about a key,
USB
you
drive,
own your own drive.
Keys. Well, so it keeps it on the blockchain. It keeps it on the ledger. It keeps it in a place that's accessible throughout the divisibility of time. It will never go anywhere. Period. Point blank. But you're able to utilize the Ledger platform to be able to access it at any time. And Ledger has this thing called Ledger Live where you're able to always access your assets, period. Right? So I could see, every time I log in, hey, I made $200,000 today. And,
Ledger Live crypto wallet app.
I made $200,000 today.
That's a crazy
Don't mind me.
Hey, I made $20 today. Like, whatever the fuck it is to you that matters.
I love that you said that.
I know that was stupid.
And he looked at me, he was like,
I shouldn't have said
Would
that.
you suggest
That's
this?
No, that was fucking awesome, though, man. But it's
great.
Reality,
I mean, listen.
Jesse.
So
it's a fucking reality, man.
I'll put it to you this way, and my wife's gonna help me. My wife's kicked my ass for the last 7 years. She's literally outperformed me by probably $1 million.
You say it like it's
year.
a bad thing. I think that's all right.
It is. It's super cool.
I wish my wife made
because we're a team now for sure. But at the end of the day, I let her know that now her year, I sometimes make in a month with the way things are going. and it's super fun.
You know
because
what it is?
it's like it's the reverse engineering of it.
Competition.
It's like when I was doing $200,000 a year, and she was like, making $500,000 a month. Yeah, I mean, listen, look, point blank, if you have more money than time, Bitcoin's not for you. Obviously, you've watched it, you ridicule us the entire time. But if you have more time than money, and you're sitting here, how do I beat the system? How do I change my family's financial outcome? Then very simply, Bitcoin is your answer. You just have to trust the process and understand the technology. If you don't do the work to study the technology and understand what it is and what it will bring to you long term, then you're simply not playing the game at all, because you have no understanding of what the fiat system is doing to you. Long story short, everybody who's struggling, if you're insecure about where you'll be at financially for the next 10 years, if you don't understand how to save long term, or how to invest, or how to put your family in a prosperous financial situation, I promise you Bitcoin is your single and only answer. Obviously time will tell, but I do think we'll fast forward this in 10 years from now. Everybody who's
5 years from now.
Yeah, well, listen, I will say 10 years from now is going to be
$1 million and $5 million.
a million. Yeah, 2030 is going to be $1 million. But for me, 9X doesn't do shit for me. You know what I'm saying? For me, I'm going for the juggler. I want to be the richest. I want to be the strongest. I want to be the toughest.
You want that yacht money.
I want that biggest yacht money. I'm the big dog on the block.
You want that Bezos? I'm going to hit a bridge with the sail.
Literally, and not give a shit about the consequences.
Exactly.
That's what I want, right? And I will tell you, Bitcoin is the tool to get me there. It's just because I've studied it. I understand it. Most of you guys don't. And I understand it sounds like magic internet money. It's not. It's a financial protocol that's built for people like you and I.
If anybody wants to invest with you, would you let
Not
them?
me. I don't take your money. No. I don't play that game. I don't bring on outside capital. It's
all right. So
fucking
then they need to hit up RPM Lending, Ryan McGinnis, in order to be able to have.
Is he a sponsor of ours? Or?
Yeah, you
No,
fucking.
he's not.
Yeah, no,
fuck
listen,
that
they
guy.
could absolutely no.
Could be.
Yeah. Well,
He will
Ryan
be.
McNicholas.
No, listen, Ryan and I'll tell you what, Ryan and James, two sharpest
Ryan
kids in
McGinnis,
Tampa.
he's got a motherfucking Formula One car at the Motor Enclave.
That's so sick.
No, that's not the point. The point is that he's handling a shit ton of funds in terms of lending.
No, they're great kids. They're fucking super sound.
I think he's older than you, man, by like
maybe.
7
I don't know.
years.
I calculate them all on
I
my
think he's
save
like
Andrew.
41.
Him and his brother are gangsters, and what's even weirder is his. I would say it's not even competition because they all run the market, but his
How's it not a
counterparts in
competition?
DKC, David Clemens and Caleb Delgado, also
Yep.
gangsters.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
everybody in that space, there's not one guy in that space that
It's
you look
every
at like they're a
fucking
fucking
space,
idiot.
man. Every
No,
single
no.
space there's
No,
gangsters.
the
no,
hard
bro,
money,
not
hard
like
money
this,
space.
not
These
like
kids
this,
are
yeah.
special. They did devise a plan that's pretty cool.
I call
But
bullshit.
Steven, why are you so upset about what he's saying?
No, I'm not upset. Just so
No.
we're on the same page.
no,
All I know is the Alessi fucking
Bakery?
bakery.
That's
You
a
don't think
scam.
They have fucking gangsters. I went to fucking.
What?
school
No,
with this
so he's not
motherfucker.
talking about like gangsters.
No. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I'm saying there's gangsters in every single fucking
Yeah.
department of this
But
entire
I
fucking
think-
life we live.
Yeah, but real recognize real.
But Garcia,
You're the Fabre fucking Frameworks Mafia.
but Garcia, similar to me and you, I
That's
think.
not
Shut
what
the fuck up.
That's not what
True.
we're
No,
talking
frameworks.
about,
Let's go. No, I'm with you. No,
Yeah.
but he is right in the same
am
sense.
fucking right.
He is right in the same sense. So let me leave you guys with this note, right? Because me and him, the football guys, the athletic guys, the guys that will fight in a fucking parking lot for $1 that don't give a fuck, that are built off of pride. We don't really always love the financial little fruitcake guys, right?
Mhm.
Not saying that those guys are those guys because they're not. They're gangsters too. But I'm just saying, like, we don't love the so-called investment guys. At the end of the day, if you're like us and you're looking for a way to put your money to work that's a sure bet for the future, that is fucking Bitcoin.
And go for
And if
Bitcoin.
you have surplus income and you want 10% a year, that's hard money. Do that play. But if you want guaranteed income and you want to be guaranteed fuck you rich in 20 years from now, that's Bitcoin.
If you want guaranteed cognizant and fucking nootropics, you get your ass over to fucking Nectar.
Nectar, buddy.
Nectar!
Nectar, buddy.